question. Retsina is a wine traditionally made in which country? And we will go to our first caller in, and that is Chris. Hey, Chris.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chris. All right, so where will you find Retsina? What country?
Greece.
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 Correct. Hang on, Chris.
Where Greek people come from.
We're going to give you a $50 Bonefish Grill gift card back for a limited time. Enjoy Dine and Discover, a special 3-course dinner for two, and it's only $45.90. You can explore menu favorites from the grill, land, and sea, including 2 salads, 2 entrees, and a shareable dessert. Visit bonefishgrill.com. Halle Bailey spoke with Entertainment Tonight recently about starring as Ariel in the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid. The actress said she's grateful to be able to follow in the footsteps of Brandy Norwood and Anika Noni Rose for their roles in Cinderella and The Princess and the Frog. Bailey said that Norwood was a studying point for her work in the forthcoming film. She said, I just watched how amazing she was in that role and how comfortable she was in her skin and how impactful to audiences and little girls like me who watched it. She said there are these beautiful black women pioneers who've done this before and been there for me to be able to say, okay, I can do this. Commenting on the viral videos of young black children watching her as Ariel for the first time, she said, it's been such a beautiful moment for me to be able to see the reactions of these babies. It makes me just emotionally overwhelmed, honestly, and I cry as soon as I watch them. I've not seen any advanced clips of this yet.
Yeah, I have, and it actually looks pretty enchanting. However, the reviews are not so good. Not horrible, but like, okay, but it looks pretty good.
All right, well, we will see.
It's for us to judge.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has opened up about his divorce from Maria Shriver in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, which was published yesterday.
Broke down crying.
He said, it was my F-up. It was my failure regarding why the relationship ended. Speaking about the new show Fubar, Arnold said it's deliberately autobiographical since his character's marriage ends due to infidelity. In real life, he cheated on Shriver with their longtime housekeeper, Mildred Benowith. The Predator actor shared that the pair's divorce was very, very difficult in the beginning, but eventually you move on.
It was the stuff of all sorts of late-night jokes, and I mean, basically, he didn't leave the house to cheat on his wife.
Right.
It was the housekeeper.
As for co-parenting, he said, she and I are really good friends and very close, and we are very proud of the way we raised our kids. Even though we had this drama, we did Easter together, Mother's Day together, the Christmases together, all birthdays, everything together. He said, if there's Oscars for how to handle divorce, Marie and I should get it for having the least amount of impact on the kids. The sweetness and kindness you see in them, that's from my wife.
My nipples are very sensitive.
And he said the discipline and work ethic is from me.
I want to see this series, this documentary about him. It looks pretty interesting, yeah.
So it's a documentary?
He's doing a dramatic series, and there is a documentary on Netflix about his life.
Yeah, that's not Fubar.
No.
Yeah.
Fubar's
That's Rebar.
It looks like a comedy, and it's on Netflix, and it starts on May 25th. And we watched that video yesterday with Bert Kreischer, and Fortune Feimster's in it as well. Fortune Feimster is in this Fubar show with Schwarzenegger.
Okay. Jane Fonda shocked Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live Monday when she shared that she once saw Michael Jackson naked. She said, I have stories for you, kid. We don't have time. And then she told Cohen while playing a game titled Plead the Fifth, in which guests are asked 3 questions but can only plead the fifth on one. First, Fonda shared that she turned down French director René Clement earlier in her career. She said he wanted to go to bed with me because she said the character had to have an orgasm in the movie.
Uh-huh. You can't fake that.
I'm assuming that might have been Barbarella. I don't know. And he needed to see what my orgasms were like.
Oh, okay.
He said it in French, and I pretended I didn't understand.
I think the director of Barbarella was Roger Vadim. Who
Of course you would know that.
Yeah, married to, yeah.
Then she told Cohen, I saw Michael Jackson naked.
Wow.
Yeah, she said.
Hey.
He came out. She explained that Jackson wanted to go skinny dipping. And she said, I think because he knew he was going to die young and I would talk about him being naked, she joked.
Norman, it looks like he has a prawn between his legs.
But she said he was really skinny.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And what? No comment on size.
No, none of
bizarre
that.
nature.
Nope. Just
Anything?
about the fact that he was skinny and naked, and that's it. But she saw
Dear God,
Michael Jackson down on the lake
put that thing away.
naked. So it must have been interesting. For
Yes. Yeah. Because he was usually the butthole is what got shown. That was his thing.
her. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the voice of Bart Simpson, Nancy Cartwright, has been awarded by the Church of Scientology for donating over $21 million to the organization.
So you remember years ago, she had done a voice greeting for, I don't know, maybe the main Scientology center in maybe the Celebrity Center in Hollywood. But so you would hear her doing the Bart Simpson, and they put a stop to that.
She was awarded a trophy for reaching Patron Excalibur with honors level status.
I want to get that status.
Patron. Last year, Cartwright was photographed at the event at the Fort Harrison Hotel in Clearwater alongside Scientology CEO David Miscavige.
Who's kind of fallen off the earth for a while.
He was in hiding.
So I was reading this story, Preston. She gave away all that money, but she herself lives pretty modestly.
Well, and kind of that's what they do, man.
Yeah.
You turn over a majority of what you make.
That's crazy.
Speaking in the new issue of Scientology's Impact magazine, Cartwright said it was the most beautiful acknowledgement I've ever received in my entire life.
Well, she's happy.
She converted to the church in 1991. She previously defended the church after the documentary titled Going Clear was released in 2015. Backing the church, Cartwright had said, that movie, I don't know what to tell you, it's called Prejudice. It's very irresponsible reporting. In 2007, she was awarded Scientology's Patron Laureate Award because she had donated $10 million to the church. Her donations in 2007 topped those of some of the biggest Hollywood names in the organization, including Tom Cruise.
So Tom is at what level is he at now?
I don't know.
Is he a Thaden first level or whatever?
I think he's right below LRH at this point. Steve.
Yes.
So in 2019, she was reported to have reached Diamond Laureate with honors,
Wow.
reflecting that she had given the organization about $17.5
There was a ceremony.
dollars. Yeah. So
This is interesting, Preston. I didn't know this. That one of the reasons that she joined the church is because she started dating this guy named Stephen Brackett. And you're talking about 2007, 2008, and the donations that she made in 2008. This guy that she was going to get married to jumped to his own death, committed suicide by jumping off Bixby Creek Bridge, which is in Big Sur. I actually drove across it last year.
I know that bridge, yeah.
It's a really famous bridge.
beautiful.
You see it in stock photos of California all the time.
Yeah.
I wonder if that had anything to do with the church. I mean, that's just pure supposition on my part. But, it was right after they started getting together, and he was in that church as well.
So she's about as deep into it as you can possibly get.
$24 million.
Yeah. So that's a lot.
We could have had that.
lot of cash to be handing over, but she gladly does that. Yes.
To each his own.
Megan Fox is on a never-ending quest for self-love. The 37-year-old actress. I
just did that last night.
Is one of the cover stars for Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition, where she revealed that she struggles with a mental health condition which causes her to think negatively about her appearance. She said, I have body dysmorphia.
Well, that would also, she's had a number of procedures, so that would be in line with that.
She posed nearly naked in a silver chain-link bikini with metallic pieces dangling across her body as she kneeled in the ocean for the cover shoot. She said, I don't see myself the way other people do. There's never a point in my life where I've loved my body. Never, ever. She said, when I was little, that was an obsession I had, like that I should look this way. And she added, why I had awareness of my body that young, I'm not sure. And it definitely wasn't environmental because I grew up in a very religious environment where bodies weren't even acknowledged.
I like how she has the Taco Bell menu tattooed on her side. Look at her. What is that down her side?
I can't even.
Yeah,
No, that's the.
Is it writing?
it looks like writing.
Oh, you weren't talking about the outfit?
No, yeah, there's clearly
Tattoo.
something long.
Yeah, she's got some text
Yeah.
on the side of her rib cage.
I just naturally assumed it was a menu.
Taco Bell menu.
Fox is using her
Someone
struggle
needs to get that.
for strength and knows that she'll face the challenge of liking what she sees in the mirror for the rest of her life. She said, the journey of loving myself is going to be never ending.
Oh, she scrubbed her Instagram account. There's no posts on there at all whatsoever.
What?
And she has 20 plus million followers.
Do you think that happened, Nick, after the whole infidelity thing? That,
Yeah, probably. I
with,
mean, sometimes people like to start fresh on Instagram, especially celebrities like that when they go through a breack up.
New lease on life. You got your Taco Bell tattoo, you're good to go.
Yep. Last month, Justin Long and Kate Bosworth confirmed reports that they were engaged. However, on a recent episode of a podcast, Long referred to Bosworth as his now wife. Speaking with Kira Sedgwick about the film Barbarian, he said, I was there while I was really falling in love with my now wife. She came to visit, and I had never been comfortable with set visits. I like to separate the relationship, but yeah, I loved having her there, and we just had the most magical time. So apparently, they're married.
All right. Okay. I like those two.
They kept it very, very quiet. So good for them if that's what the goal was. After years of teasing that it would happen, ABC has finally given the green light to its long-awaited senior citizen season of The Bachelor.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love you.
This fall.
Pretty much there.
Shut up. Shut up.
This fall.
You ate your rose.
This fall, one lucky older man will embark on a journey to find love, flipping the former of the Bachelor franchise, which for more than 2 decades has starred 20-something and barely 30-something singles.
Why don't you take that bony claw and do something with my junk?
Whoa.
There's a lot of love in the family.
No, it's not the doorknob.
Pony.
I made them extra sloppy for you.
The new series will be called The Golden Bachelor.
Yeah, I want a golden shower.
The leading man has yet to be announced, and his cast of female suitors will be announced at a later date.
So we're assuming by Bachelor and Bachelorette levels, these seniors will be, like in their 50s?
Oh, I don't know.
I think they're going to go 80, are they?
I
pooped myself.
I don't know, Steve. The way this is, listen to this. So it's ABC describes the new series as showcasing a whole new kind of love story, one for the golden years. The network synopsis says a hopeless romantic is given a second chance at love in the search for a partner with whom to share the sunset years of life.
All right.
That sounds like older than 50 to me.
It does.
The women arriving...
Maybe a nursing home.
The women arriving in the mansion have a lifetime of experience living through love, loss, and laughter, hoping for a spark that ignites a future full of endless possibilities. In the end, will our golden man turn the page to start a new chapter with the woman of his dreams?
Instead of a rose, he hands out a rose-colored adult diaper.
Oh, my God. Execs behind The Bachelor have been hot on the idea for a senior citizen Bachelor season for quite some time, but the series has been waiting on the back burner for years, and it seems that the writer's strike pushed ABC over the edge as the network is now leaning heavily on unscripted content.
So I'll tell you where this could be the kind of thing that if they do it right could sort of catch people up, because if they're recognizing in these people, the people who are like their grandparents or whatever, it could work.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
If they do it right.
Can't be, like that.
I don't know. We'll see. We shall see how it plays out. This is a terrible, well, it's not, this is just sad that this exists. So in an interview with The Guardian published on Monday, Matilda star, Mara Wilson.
Yes.
The little girl.
Love her.
She's in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Cute little lisp and everything.
She was in the remake of Miracle on 34th Street.
So she opened up about the harrowing experience of being sexualized as a child actor.
What?
She said, I had people sending me inappropriate letters and posting things about me online, and she added that her photo was superimposed on other girls' bodies on porn sites, and she said, I made the mistake of Googling myself when I was 12, and I saw things that I couldn't unsee. She also said...
a friend of mine has seen stuff like that. It's disgusting.
Wilson also said members of the press would ask her if she knew what French kissing was or which actor she thought was sexiest, at that age. So she's saying...
That's terrible.
She was aware of that.
It is terrible, yeah.
And just was like... And now looking back on, that was wrong. That's not right. That's messed up. So I thought that was interesting. But
How old is she now?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Don't really know. I would imagine she's probably in her late 30s, early 40s. That's a wild
It's
guess.
been a while, right?
Yeah, so I don't know. All right, and then finally we'll do one more story and wrap it up. On a recent episode of his daily Cannon talk show, Nick Cannon explained that he thought writing handwritten messages from the heart for Mother's Day this year would be a special way to celebrate the mothers of his 12 kids. That is, until he mixed up the cards.
Uh-oh.
He said, when one baby mama reads the card about how I feel about the other baby mama, he said, see, if I would have just gotten some generic stuff that everybody else got, that wouldn't have happened. So
What, did you want him to complain?
There are so many mothers that on the Mother's Day, he is sending the wrong letters to the wrong mother.
I think what he needs to do to handle this the right way is set up a temporary post office
that's
himself.
probably a good idea.
Yeah, to make sure all the mail goes out to the proper baby mamas.
Yep. All right, we're ready for some clips here, gang. Javasia Leslie takes on a new role in the female-led thriller called Double Life. And in this clip, she talks about her experience with that.
When I first read the script, I love thrillers. I grew up watching thrillers. Honestly, I would prefer thrillers over any and everything, especially psychological thrillers, because there's twists in the movie. And then it's a female-led thriller. I wasn't someone's, plus one. Like, we were each other's plus, like it was +2 all the time, like it was so much fun to leave that film with another woman.
Double rainbow. Oh my God.
Double Life is available now on Apple TV. And here's our next clip. The 10th and final film of the Fast and Furious series is here in Fast X. And here, Jason Momoa talks about working with co-star Vin Diesel.
He's wonderful and he's fabulous and he's fun to be around. And then you know, the moment they go action, it just switches into Dom and you're like, oh wow. And the voice hits and everything, the cadence hits and he just gets, it's just different than who he is. And I enjoy both. I enjoy watching him play Dom and I enjoy Vin as, running and having responsibility for this franchise for 20 years. So it's impressive.
Shut the f*** up! That voice.
Fast X hits theaters on Friday, by the way.
You have the most, I don't think it's possible to have any more testosterone in a movie than what I'm seeing in this.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing a cool thing from what I can gather with Momoa is that they're making him a comic relief a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that'll play well with him.
Yeah.
He can definitely do that.
You should have a drink, Steve.
Like
As
a
guy-
mimosa.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa.
I like that. All right, we have some stuff to get to, so we're going to take a break. Don't forget, we're going live on Fox Good Day this morning. We have a secret text word today, giving away tickets to in fact, they're 2-day passes for the Lost Highway Motorcycle Show and concert this Friday and Saturday in Poconos, Bushkill. And Leonard Skinner and Marshall Tucker Band will be playing there. So text word secret to 39333. Our coolest teacher of the year, the first school that has been chosen, Northern Burlington County Regional High School in Columbus, New Jersey. Just text the word teacher to 39333. And we're also going to have Rob Hyman and David Uosikkinen of the Hooters in the studio today. We'll be back in just a second. Hang out with us.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Finally. Yep, fresh from our Acme Lounge.
Yeah. Finally, we're getting to use it.
Yeah, exactly. They have arrived in our studio via the UK, and we actually hung out with them in London. They came by our live broadcast when the Eagles were playing, and we did a few days in London, and they are in town filming for their YouTube series, and they're great people. We love them. Give some love to Joel and Leah, who are here.
Thanks for having us.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Yeah. We're good. We're even happier you've used that music.
Yeah.
Very royal.
Iconic. As soon as it came on, I was like, this is incredible.
Any American show, whenever, this has been for decades, whenever they go to London or England, there is a stock shot of Big Ben, and that's the music that plays to show the transition. It is almost guaranteed.
They'll show a car going across Tower Bridge, and
and that's it.
The music
every
gets
time.
played.
Oh, I know where we are.
Mhm.
And of course, you'll hear like the Paris. You get the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, yeah.
All the stand. Oh, here's where we are.
Yeah, every time. So listen, you guys, when did you get to the States?
Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Yeah.
And flew into Philadelphia or New York, or where'd you go?
Yeah, Philadelphia. We got
Philadelphia.
detained. That was
You got
fun.
detained?
I told Casey about it. It was, we were terrified. US border control. So scary.
So detained, what did they...
Well, detained might be a bit dramatic, but they took us aside. They took our passports away, took us into secondary questioning.
Oh.
They separated us. They went through all our luggage. They were asking us all these probing
Joel,
questions.
my palms are sweating as we read
I know,
about
same.
it. Like, I get it. And we're so innocent. That's the problem.
They don't smile at you, right? Like there's no like, don't worry, we're just gonna. It's like you think you're, something.
The thing to do,
Yeah.
and the way to deflect immediately, if you ever get in that situation, is say, we don't have any bombs.
Yeah, I've heard
and then
that.
they'll react. No, it is a weird thing, and I think a lot of people go through, I know I do. I'm always like, I know that I'm completely, there's nothing, it's clean, but
Yeah,
you're
but
like,
you're
you
nervous.
can't help it when they start pointing their attention at you, you're going to start getting nervous.
Oh, yeah. I
And
was like, Joel, we need to get our story straight. He was like, what story? we just tell the truth.
If you're not familiar with Joel and Leah, they have this YouTube series, and they do a lot of comparisons to American culture and British culture, and that's where they jumped on our radar because they'll do fun things like sampling food. I watched a video this morning of you, Joel, driving in the United States for the first time.
Yeah.
And that was in Orlando, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Listen, when we went to London, after spending a couple days, or in advance, I'm like, I'm wondering if I could be able to drive here or not. And after spending a couple days, actually 5 minutes, I'm like, no way would I be able to. And London is a major metropolitan area. So being able to drive in, maybe I could pull it off in the country, but in a city, forget it, man.
Really? You think you could do country roads? They are terrifying. They're
Are
so
they?
small and narrow, and you feel like everyone's going to hit you, and it's really scary.
Okay,
know
I'll
what
just
happens?
write off the whole country.
Anytime, years ago, we'd gone over when Guinness was giving away, they used to have a promotion where they give away pubs in Ireland. Like you'd get the pub, you'd get the whole business. And so we went over, and I don't think we even drove then, Preston. I think Marilyn's friend drove around.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always thinking of that story years ago when, remember, Matthew Broderick was over, and he was driving with, I think, Aaron, from Jennifer Grey.
Yeah.
And they were on the wrong side of the road, and they collided with the family, and it was a horrible story.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, because it's such a you've been driving so long here.
Yeah. You've trained your whole life.
My fear is I would just lapse back into the wrong side.
Did you like driving on the right side of the road?
It was scary, and I did start driving with 1 foot on each pedal because I drive a manual, so an automatic. And Leah was like, "Why is it so jerky?" And she's like, "Have you got a foot on each pedal?" I was like, "Yeah."
We
so
sound
I forgot.
so intelligent on this show.
But it was easy in the end because your roads are wider. I feel like, especially in Florida, people don't get angry. There's so much road rage in the UK, and in Florida, they were just like, "Nah, you cut me up, it's fine."
It's really funny because Brits are quite polite. Well, we're kind of polite-ish, but then on
Not
the
in a car.
road, we have this alter ego where we feel like we can say anything behind the car.
And there probably is road rage here, but just where we were in Florida, they were just.
No, there is.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised to hear that there's a lot in England. Everyone does seem. I mean, obviously, you always make these sweeping generalities. Everyone's so pleasant, but you're saying that's out on the road behind the wheel. It's a different story.
Totally different story.
But you know what? It's probably not scary to you guys because it's just like, oh, you idiot.
Right.
Yeah.
So while you're in the area, how much time are you spending in Philadelphia and filming here?
So yeah, we have 6 days in total.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Which is kind of short, but we're hoping to just do all the touristy stuff, and obviously we're going to try Philly cheesesteak as well. So we haven't
First
done that yet.
time.
First time, yeah. So
A
excited.
Philly cheesesteak, you got to try several of them.
Yeah,
Several.
all of them.
There's, you can't. I mean, they're all over the place. And so,
Oh, wow.
But we can point you guys in the right direction if you need some places to go to. Yeah.
When you travel, because when we came over to London, you sort of feel compelled to do the touristy stuff.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily get a taste of the city or the country when you do that. When you guys travel, do you bang out the touristy stuff and then dive a little deeper, or what's your approach?
It's really funny. Tell them about the love thing.
Well, yeah, so everyone was banging on about the love sculpture here, and like, you need to see it. And then we got there, and it was just like this tiny little love
Yeah,
sculpture.
right.
We looked at it and we went, no, surely not.
Surely not.
Surely
But we do try to hit all of the touristy stuff.
Wait, so you didn't like the love statue?
We just
I
went,
thought it'd
no,
be
we've
huge.
not come halfway across the world for that. No, come on.
Like,
Make
it's all
it make
very
sense.
cute. Like, it's nice. Love's great. We love love.
Oh, we love love.
It's just a very small sculpture.
You're right. It's not.
It's unimpressive.
Yeah, it's not like an art masterpiece. As in, wow, how did they make
It's the
that,
word love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
like,
it's a nice positive message. It's,
Yeah. We thought, no wonder they detained us at the airport. They don't believe we're tourists. There's nothing to see.
right. They're just bored. But it's like the Liberty Bell, which whenever somebody comes here, I never say go see the Liberty Bell. It's underwhelming. It's a crack bell. I get it, but there's a lot of stuff down there that And we did a thing years ago about people who've lived here all their lives and have not seen it. It's just so you will leave, I'm sure, seeing more than a lot of Philadelphians have seen in your 6 days here.
Okay. Do you guys do all the planning of what you want to do while you're here, or do you? Yeah, you do it.
So loose planning, don't we? And then most of it's just like make it up as we go along. But we will have a few.
And we get recommendations from our viewers as well. We rely heavily on that because we want to make videos for them. So we're like, well, what do you want to see?
Yeah.
So most of the times it will be all the touristy stuff. And we would like to go off the beaten track, but we don't often have the time to do that.
Well, I think that's the charm, is that you're doing the stuff that everyone says initially would say, I'd like to check that out. So these recon trips where you're going and you come here, and obviously most of what you do is predicated on the differences and similarities. How many times a year, outside of a COVID scenario, would you make the trip to the States?
Yeah, we used to do quite a few, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then COVID just sort of meant that couldn't happen. So,
Maybe
what are we
3
aiming
trips
for?
a year?
At least 3?
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4. That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like 6 days, you can get like everything done and then some in 6 days here.
Yeah.
Like, no doubt. I don't even know what you've done so far and what you have planned for today.
So, what have we done so far, Joel? You're the map.
far-
Joel's the map.
We
I'm just the wandering follower.
we went to Reading Terminal Market for
Okay.
breakfast.
Good cause.
Loved it.
That was nice.
Well,
and
did
then
you go to Denick's? Because there's a one of the shops in there has what has been labeled the greatest sandwich in the United States is
Wow.
at Reading Terminal Market.
Really? Did they just write that on the poster,
Yeah,
or did they actually?
They
been
didn't write it. It was I can't remember which foodie or which but it was like
Yeah.
it wasn't a Philadelphian who said it. It was
Okay.
somebody who has toured the whole country and said this is
That
the
is the
greatest.
best sandwich.
You will bet. There's a lot of great food here. That's one thing. Philly, over the course of the time that we've been doing the show, has become a real foodie city.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great stuff to check out. And as Preston was right, you can't do one cheesesteak. You're going to have to do a
Okay.
couple.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
That's fine with
That's
us.
interesting. Yeah, I can see the title now of that video. We tried the best sandwich in America.
Yes,
That'd be
all right.
quite good.
That'd be
Yeah.
good. We also talking about soft pretzels. Apparently that's a
Apparently
Philly
that's a thing.
Someone
is.
said tomato pie. And then I
Yes.
told that to someone, and they were like, "What is
Yes.
that?"
That's
Is
what we
that-
call
what
it
is
too.
that?
Tomato
Oh,
pie.
tomato.
Tomato pie.
Tomato pie. Yeah. So yes, it's kind of like pizza.
Okay.
But
Without the cheese.
Without the cheese,
Oh,
and it's
cold.
usually
It's
served
cold.
cold.
So
Yeah.
it's
and
really
it has a
nothing like
sweetness to
pizza.
it too.
It's sweet.
It's
yeah.
You're really
sweet.
selling it, guys.
Yeah, it's unique and it's good, but
Corporalese.
You have to go
Corporalese.
You need
Corporalese.
a Corporalese to get there.
Okay.
They're our favorite tomato pie for sure.
And
Gosh.
the sweetness, I think, is what will surprise you. Is that it definitely has that taste to it. And it took a while for me to acclimate to it. You probably also have to do crab fries, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, Chickies and Pete's.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Those
crab
are
fries.
too.
Why didn't you call us? We would give you a whole list.
I
There's so
listen,
much food
I
choice,
put
yeah.
I put Leah in touch with Marissa. I said she is Philadelphia, like
Right.
and anything and everything that you need to know. And actually, because you're Greek as well.
Yeah.
One of her best friends owns a Greek restaurant, and it's what's it called? Hopa.
Oppa.
Yeah.
Oppa.
Oppa.
Yeah,
I love
and
that.
so she owns a nice restaurant in the city of Philadelphia. But like,
That's
if you
awesome.
really needed to consult anybody about anything you needed to see and do in the city, Marissa's your person.
Is there a Sixers game while they're here?
There's a Sixers, yeah, and LeBron James
Yeah.
is in town.
Is
LeBron
that,
James.
wow, you're joking.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought I pretended to be a fangirl then, but that's quite impressive. Isn't
Yeah,
it? Is that at the Wells Fargo?
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Well, I did do a little bit of research. So, yeah.
Where are you guys staying in the city, downtown?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So we won't say where.
No,
No,
Okay,
exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
Last time we said where we were in a
Oh my
hotel,
gosh.
we just got so much food sent to the hotel, so maybe we
Oh my
should
gosh.
say
Honestly,
it. We
they
got
kept
Cuban
calling
sandwiches,
us.
we got cheese, deliveries of just cheese, because we said on a live stream how we
We
wanted
said we were hungry.
cheese.
They
and
started
then-
sending food.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
was
God.
amazing.
Bruno Brothers.
That's very cool that your viewers are that
Yeah.
nice and that look
Amazing.
out
Oh,
for
they
you.
are, yeah.
We
And-
got to send them to Italian Market. Take a
Yes.
look at that down that way because you mentioned cheese. De Bruno Bros is down there, right?
Yeah, De Bruno's actually all over the place.
Are you
Yeah.
guys
You know-
museum people?
We've got a cool one. We've
There's
got
one
a
called
super cool
The
one.
Muter Museum. It's
Yeah.
written like mutter, but it's pronounced Muter Museum, and it's oddities and it's weird like medical
Medical.
anomalies
That's
and
cool.
stuff like that. And it's a really cool building on top of it. So if you want to go see
Okay.
some weird, gross stuff,
Yeah.
Philly's your place.
They have
We
a,
like
like a
that.
gigantic
Yeah.
colon.
Yeah,
I mean,
as a
literally,
matter of
I mean,
fact-
like I mean, the
Okay, wow.
weird. They have the skeleton of what was the one time the tallest man in the world? Yes, right.
Yeah, I was at the Casey Musgraves concert last night at
Oh,
the
wow.
Wells
Yeah,
at
I
the
saw
Wells
she was
Fargo
on.
Center, and she has been in town for the last couple of days. She went to the Muter Museum.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
Mm.
If
Yeah.
it's good enough for Casey, it's good
Good
enough
enough
for
for
us.
us, yeah.
Yes.
We were reading all about her in Nashville at that Country Music Museum, weren't we?
Yeah, we did.
So I say we don't like museums, we actually do.
Yeah, it depends. Just not modern art. I don't
I
like modern art
know.
museums.
All right, we will.
Not modern art,
We'll
yeah.
steer you that way. Well, I see that our callers are getting on the line, and I think I want to take this out for a spin because one of the things that always surprises us here is when we'll be watching a show, a movie, something like that, and you get to know a character, even sometimes over a few seasons. And then we'll hear an interview with him, and it turns out this person who we thought was from America is a Brit, and they have mastered the accent. And in fact, Kate Winslet, a show called Mayor of Easttown, which took place in this area, had to master not only just the American accent, but specifically. She took it from where Casey is from, Delaware County. We call it Delco.
Yeah.
So it's got a very specific accent. And she said it was the most difficult accent she ever tried to master. And she nailed it. She nailed it spot on.
I mean, she's winning awards right and left for it. Yeah.
That's incredible.
So we wanted to do a game with you guys called Brit or Not a Brit.
Ooh, gosh, okay.
We have a series of callers
Okay.
that are going to speak. We've given them something to say.
Oh, gosh.
Some of them are British and some of them are American, but they're all going to be attempting a British accent.
Okay.
Or just
you
talking.
Have to determine whether they are legitimately British or not.
100% Joel's going to be really good at this.
Oh,
yeah?
I'll try. I did a degree in linguistics. So
Well, there you go. That's
I
good.
love accents. But I say that, I probably, I'll be terrible.
Okay.
Well, the funny
we'll
thing
find
is
out.
that, as you know, because as you know, you're obviously spent a lot of time in the States. Obviously, there are different dialects throughout the United States. Or England.
93.3 WMMR.
Thank you, Kathy. There was an interesting story I saw this morning concerning a phrase that I had no idea that was trademarked. And here's the story. America's biggest Mexican-inspired fast food chain is seeking to cancel a competitor's decades-long trademark. On May 16th, Taco Bell announced that it has filed legal petitions to revoke a trademark on the phrase Taco Tuesday.
What?
Yes, exactly.
It was theirs?
No, it was not theirs. They're trying to free it.
Right.
They want to use it.
Oh, got it.
And they can't use it because it's trademarked. So they had...
Does that blow your mind?
Weird.
They had written, let's see here. I lost my place. Taco Tuesday, this action to liberate the phrase takes direct aim at the trademark holder, rival Mexican-inspired chain Taco John's, which I'm not familiar with because it's primarily in the Midwest and mountain regions of the United States.
Never heard of it.
But they apparently hold the trademark for Taco Tuesday. I want to say the news report I saw, I don't have it in this story here, was in like, I don't know, 30 some odd states or something like that.
Yes, yeah.
New Jersey is not one of them.
I know. It's kind of wild.
A different group holds the trademark for Taco Tuesday in New Jersey, I want to say.
This makes my mind real because first off, what is the... They've trademarked it, but where does it originate from?
Well, I have the history here.
There you go.
Since 1989, Taco Tuesday has been registered as a trademark, creating potential legal consequences for those that want to use the phrase. Taco Bell goes on to say that it has filed legal petitions to cancel the federal trademark registrations for Taco Tuesday via the USPTO Trademark Trial and Appeal Board, which handles appeals involving applications to registered marks, trial cases involving applications or current registrations, and other matters. So let me tell you what Taco Bell's complaint is, and then I'll give you the history of Taco Tuesday real quick here. Taco Bell writes, Taco Bell believes Taco Tuesday should belong to all who make, sell, eat, and celebrate tacos. How can anyone live mas if they are not allowed to freely say Taco Tuesday? It's pure chaos. They said that it's not seeking damages or trademark rights for Taco Tuesday phrase, but seeking to liberate it for common sense for usage of a common term, essentially freeing any company to use the phrase as they please. The phrase Taco Tuesday and who laid claim to it to its use has quite a lengthy history. A September 2018 Thrillist article investigated the phrase origin and found that the first true documented use of the term Taco Tuesday was all the way back in August. It was on August 20th, 1973, when the phrase stop in on Taco Tuesday appeared in South Dakota's Rapid City Journal, later appearing as promotions for restaurants in Kansas and California in 1975 and 1976.
And so it came in the way of an advertisement?
Yes.
Okay. And for a particular chain or a particular restaurant that doesn't exist?
It doesn't say. It was in South Dakota's Rapid City Journal, and it doesn't indicate that. Still, Taco John's earliest Taco Tuesday, but it's technically spelled, Tuesday is spelled T-W-O. S-C-A-Y. Hold on.
Okay.
The usage appeared on December 2nd, 1979 in Indiana's Longsport Pharaohs Tribune And from there was granted a trademark for the phrase in 1989, defending against others using that phrase in the time since.
So for me, it became popular with a movie, and I can't remember what movie it was. It wasn't the Lego movie. I know it was used in that, but it was before that. And I remember I got a T-shirt from the movie, said Taco Tuesday, but I forget what movie it was.
Who was a fan of, Deadpool's Chimichangas? Who's a big taco fan in movies?
Well, I know. I feel like it was like
Garfield likes lasagna.
like a Will Ferrell movie, or like it was some sort of comedy,
Right.
And it was like
a phrase that was
prominently used,
Yeah.
yes, in the movie.
Okay, and then that's where it got on
For
your radar.
me, like and then we just started Taco Tuesday like all the time.
I've always thought, I never thought about the origin of the phrase. It's just something that always seemed to make sense to me, and we've long celebrated Taco Tuesday. That's a given.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's an ad slogan. But I've never understood how certain things can be trademarked and how often they're acted upon when people. So, in other words, someone casually blurts out Taco Tuesday, or even we're broadcasting or whatever. Where's the delineation between having violated the trademark and not?
I think it has to do with advertising or using it for selling products.
Right.
For trademarking.
The other thing that always confuses me, Steve, is the difference between a TM and the copyright. So the little TM next to it. And I remember years ago, Billy Joel copyrighted his name. And I don't know why. But if you bought a Billy Joel record, there was that little C with a circle around it after his name.
I want to trademark Monkfish Mondays, and I think that will take off.
Isn't Preston and Steve?
Yes, we are trademarked. Yeah.
Copyrighted?
I don't know if we're trademarked
We
or
are in the
copyrighted.
parliament.
They don't even know.
It's one or the other. I don't know. We pay for it. That's all I know.
Absolutely. And our crack legal team calls us up and says, are we trademarked or copyrighted?
Actually, no, the legal team does contact us from time to time. They'll say, hey, so-and-so is trying to sell these things with your name on it. And then they will serve them a cease and desist order, or they will, if they need be, they'll follow up with legal action.
Yeah. Believe it or not.
Yeah, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah. You won't. Kathy laughs as if there's not a huge black market for knockoff Preston and Steve items.
But Kathy, I don't know if it's copyright or trademark.
It's registered.
Registered.
There's a
of
third.
Course.
So it's the R with the circle around it.
That's it.
And if you go to PrestonandSteve.com, you can see the words Preston and then the ampersand and then Steve.
yeah.
And then right after the Steve, there's the little R with the circle.
Oh, that's what that is.
Oh, it's registered.
So,
That's what you pay
when
for.
we split the bill on that lawyer's, that's what we're paying for.
That's what that's for, the little R.
You guys want to go halvesies on the lawyer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Does it protect you in any way?
Absolutely.
No, you didn't even hear my question. Does it protect you in any way? Like if you were to, if the show were to go somewhere else, like
yes,
is
or
that
not.
Is that what it's protecting you? So that you take you own your name, not WMR doesn't own it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
that's part of it.
And maybe not.
And
you're not really
go.
sure. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
No,
but
yes.
that's why we, the experts.
Yeah, if for some reason we, had to part ways with the company and go somewhere else, and if they wanted to be sticklers about it, they could say, you can't use the Preston and Steve show because it was used here for X
And
amount
when
of
we
years.
say, Preston, we think we're protected.
We have a little R.
Let us
Get off our back.
ask our wives.
Yeah. So that is, it's part of it because we built 25 years building a brand.
Absolutely. We're not just going to blow it all away for nothing. That's why we're so up on our status.
Speaking of that, we have our 25th anniversary party coming up at Keenan's in North Wildwood, and we have found out that we have, for those who are in attendance, as long as they last, we're going to have hundreds of special Preston and Steve 25th T-shirts that we are going to be giving away to people that morning. And we have the new logo, if you want to see it, on PrestonandSteve.com.
I think it's terrific.
It looks fantastic. So,
and that's registered and trademarked.
Yes.
It's not. We actually stole it.
Do you know how the logo came about?
but we're giving it away.
I'll answer my own question. Greg Monahan woke up in the middle of the night and had this idea, wrote it down on a piece of paper, and then went back to bed. It came to him in a dream, essentially.
Did he contact the legal firm of Claire and Rochelle Incorporated?
Yeah, they're gonna need to work out the paperwork on this. So
sometimes the mail arrived, and they're gonna go, "What's this?"
Yeah,
and just hand it to. It's like when you hand your report card when you're a kid to their parents. What does this mean?
I asked Preston a business related question last week, and Preston was like, Rochelle's in Italy, so
Yeah, I don't know the answer.
Wait till she gets back.
Yeah. By the way, LeBron James.
Yeah, I know.
He attempted to trademark the phrase Taco Tuesday in 2022 because he does on social media these weekly, taco night celebrations with his family. And he yells, "It's Taco Tuesday." What?
It's I hate it. I can't say. And I love LeBron. I think he's the GOAT. But like he does this thing, and he's like, I'm like every time he does it.
What is that?
It's cringy. It is so cringy when he does it. And then I remember it was like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. He thought he was going to be able to trademark it.
I'm glad he lost something.
He had come. I know, right?
He was denied by the USPTO on the basis that Taco Tuesday is, quote, a commonplace term. And according to James's lawyer at the time, this outcome was the goal all along. So,
well, he needs to see. Here's his problem.
Interesting,
Preston. He's not up on the law as we are.
Yeah, your wives are. Yeah, that's it. So, but listen, no,
he needs to talk to our wives.
No, but listen to that. Listen to the dichotomy here.
Yes.
Because if somebody owns Taco Tuesday, yet the USPTO is saying that he was denied it because it's considered a commonplace term. That's
contradictory.
Yeah. I submit
where's my
to you.
gavel? You're out of order. This whole Taco Tuesday's out of order.
So
how can that possibly? That is a direct contradiction.
Yeah.
Either
I agree.
this is saying it's common use. Is the issue because it goes to the brand of LeBron James?
I don't know. Ex post facto.
Where are wives?
Yeah. Here's one that I had forgotten about, and a listener just texted in. So when football players talk about where they went to college, and when they're doing, if Casey joins the Eagles, and they do a little preamble at the beginning where they have a video, Casey would say the Ursinus University, right, or Ursinus College. But Ohio State literally trademarked and won a lawsuit for the word "the," because when people would come on and if Steve Morrison went to University of Ohio State or Ohio State University, and you came on and you did a little thing, you would always say the Ohio State University, and Ohio State won that trademark.
In the minutia, that is the law. I remember there was, and I won't go into specifics, but Preston, with this stuff and how things are represented, and a the and an a, or
unreal. There
was literally a semicolon, Preston. Do you remember this in a contract that we had? I'll remind you.
Oh yes,
that like
it changed things
massively.
Yeah,
and worked in our favor.
Yeah, that's why a lawyer is a very good thing to have if you're dealing with business details like that.
Is that why yesterday was the anniversary of our show and not some point in August?
I don't know.
Okay. I will refer you to our wives.
So I forgot what I was going to say. I'm going to go to a phone call then. Let me go to Eric here. Eric, good morning.
Hi. Sorry about your work.
It's okay.
What's up, Eric?
Hi. I just want to say that I think you mentioned Taco John's has only 49 of the states and not New Jersey.
I don't know if it has 49, but New Jersey is one of the ones it doesn't have, yes.
Yeah, so I actually saw in an article, I think it was Philly Voice, that the 50th at New Jersey, it's a bar called Gregory's in Summers Point.
Okay.
And if I saw that Gregory's actually had it trademarked first, but didn't re-up it in time or something like that, and Taco John's came in for the rest of the country, but Gregory's was able to keep theirs.
They were able to keep it. Okay, so they own Taco Tuesday in New Jersey.
That stuff can get crazy.
I didn't even know that was statewide, I mean, as opposed to a national trademark. I don't know what the differences are.
You know,
All
it's
right,
weird,
thanks, Eric.
Preston, when they come in after the fact, like Casey, stake them up.
Yeah.
Our friend, there was an issue involving his business and then the larger national stuff, and it was
stake.
He eventually prevailed.
Yeah,
but it's spelled differently.
Right.
So you have stake.
But they were coming after him.
Yeah.
So stake was UM.
Yeah.
And stake 'em up is stake EM.
Right.
Up.
And
Stake
yet
'em
they
up,
had an
yeah.
issue with it.
And it's a play on stick 'em up.
Yes.
Is what it is because it's a gangster theme and all this stuff. So it's a play on that. Hang on. Karen works in patent law and can explain copyright and trademarks to us.
Oh, we need to get our wives on the phone.
And registration or registered. Hi, Karen. Good morning.
Good morning. morning. How are you guys today?
Great. Confused. So, which is standard procedure. So, copyright, trademark, and registered, what are the differences?
Okay, so with trademark, you can file a trademark either on the state level, meaning you're just doing it for that specific state that you're doing business with and you're not crossing state lines.
Mm-hmm.
You can then have, once that trademark is approved by the state, it is then a registered mark. It is.
Stop 1 second. And we're morons, so I apologize.
Yep.
So once once it is trademarked, it becomes registered.
Correct.
All right. So with our name, we are registered in PA, I would assume.
So you probably, if it was done properly, it was probably done with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, meaning it was done on a federal level.
Yes.
Meaning if you go anywhere in the country, you are protected.
Okay.
Is that what the little R in the circle is?
Correct. The little R in the circle means that trademark has been registered with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office.
Would I, if I were in court fighting this, Karen, would I be laughed at if I stood up and said, "What about the little R in the circle"?
Yes.
Yes, you would.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, legally they can laugh at you.
But it is a solid point.
Okay. So there are more. There's countrywide, and I don't assume there's anything that like a global trademark, right?
Actually, what you can do is you can still register that same trademark throughout various countries. There's almost 200 countries worldwide.
Okay.
And so like Coca-Cola, for example, they're going to register their trademark in every country that they sell Coca-Cola.
All right. That makes sense.
It's very expensive, but yes, you'll do it.
So we have trademark and registered. What about copyright?
Copyright is going to be for artwork. So you're thinking about your song. So when you're seeing that on the Billy Joel album, it's because he copyrighted his songs.
So why wouldn't Pearl Jam do the same thing? I don't understand why.
They would all do the same thing.
But I guess I never see the little C with a circle around it on a Pearl Jam record, but I do see it on a Billy Joel record.
You should. I don't know why it's not on the record. I would hazard to guess that every musician that has, any, clout, anything that's going, that large is going to then be copyrighted.
Right, be cavalier with it, but we would assume that is the law or is the understanding that for it to be in effect, you need to have that posted on, or at least available somewhere in the artwork?
It should be posted, correct.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Hey, Karen, I heard a term on a news report this morning, and I forgot what it was called, but it was like generified or something like that. If something is in use for so long and people have used it, it can sometimes become a generic term.
Like Kleenex?
Like Kleenex.
Correct,
like
Xerox.
Yeah, exactly. But there are a few brands that have held on to it, like Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Like you can't, that's a brand name, but everybody calls them a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you have to attack it early.
All right.
So you have to start filing suits early in the courts. Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to your last caller.
Yeah.
The Gregory actually has a registered trademark, which is federal with the USPTO, and I'm looking at it on the USPTO site, and it shows that it is still active and live. So they can actually attack the taco place that's out west.
So they can. Wow. All right.
But they're one bar versus a
multi-state chain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which might get a little expensive.
Is there a case? So what you're saying, if I get you correctly here, and if so they've trademarked, or they have a copyright, or well, let's say a trademark. And it's so the phrase becomes so used, and it's gotten away from them so much. Does it render it inert after a while?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why you have to kind of bring suit, and you have to file, send out these cease and desist letters. So Taco Tuesday, the Gregory restaurant, they should be sending out a bunch of cease and desist letters to all the restaurants that are putting Taco Tuesday on their signs, because each mark, how it's registered, it's based on a type of class. So you've got trademarks and service marks, trademarks being for something substantive, so like your can of Coke. Service mark being a service that you provide, such as a restaurant is providing a service
Okay.
of serving you food.
Well, in this case, do you believe it's gotten away from them at this point because it's such a common phrase?
I would think so.
Okay.
I'm shocked as hell to see that.
Right? How are you going to go after all of the small Mexican restaurants that have Taco Tuesdays and all of the people that are in violation of
Karen,
this?
what about technicalities like spelling it? They spell it with a TWO too. What if you spell it with TOO Tuesday? You can do it that way, or you know.
Definitely.
Technically, you can get away with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just put the number there, like literally the
two.
The number two.
And then day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
All right. Thank you, Karen. You're
Very
a
informative.
wealth of knowledge.
No problem. Y'all have a great day.
All right, you too.
She reminds me of my wife.
Yes. Tells you what you're
exactly
paying for.
what you need to know.
Mm-hmm. I have Joe on the line here. Hey, Joe, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. What's up, buddy?
I work at this little hole in the wall bar. We have a small kitchen, maybe the size of a bathroom. One Friday night or one Saturday night, I made a special called the Schmitter.
The Schmitter, yeah.
Put it on the chalkboard with a piece of dollar store chalk. I had no idea how this got out, but apparently the Philadelphia Phillies got word of it and we received a letter saying that if we didn't stop using that sandwich name, that we were going to be sued.
Well,
but it was, like I said, it was a hole in the wall. I had no idea how they even found out.
To be honest, Joe, that is so. We've talked about this aspect before, and that's what our law firm that we are in contact with constantly. It's their job to peruse everything and to see what's out there. So that's kind of what they do. The fact that they were able to get that its appearance on a chalkboard that quickly has to be a bit of a mind blower.
Yeah, like we don't advertise. We didn't advertise on I don't think we even have a website. There's no signage. It was just like the 14 people that saw it that night. Something must have gotten out, and we got a letter from the Philadelphia Phillies that if we didn't stop using it or ever use it again, we would be sued. And
you know what? You should have gone after them. We're going to bury you.
That's great. Listen, they can find out. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it, man.
Imagine you take them to court and win.
Here's some 6 famous catchphrases that are trademarked. Some of these you'll know, but "You're fired" is one.
The Apprentice?
Yeah, from The Apprentice. So that is trademarked.
Yes.
And apparently, I guess you can't use that. And we should have asked Karen in what regards. Like, you can still tell someone you're fired.
No, you cannot.
Yes, you can.
You can stop working here and we're stopping paying you. No, you're right. How
you
would you
can't use it for any sort of
a T-shirt or a
promotion or money maker.
Something where money is changing.
Right, but money is changing hands if you fire an employee. In a very vague sense. I submit to the court.
All right.
So if they ever say that to us, we go, you can't.
No, I'm sorry.
You can't, sorry.
Yeah, I'll see you on Monday.
Yep.
Hasta la vista, baby. Is
Oh my
one of
gosh,
them.
really?
Yeah.
Now, who copyrights that? Because Arnold says the line, but I guarantee you he didn't write it.
It's the Jody Watts. What's her name? Jody Watson song?
Well, I remember the first time I remember hearing it was Tone Loc.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm
and
thinking
Wild Thing. Hasta la vista, baby.
Terminator 2, but that's a reference made in Terminator 2.
And I think it's in reference to
that tone,
the Tone Loc song.
Hasta la vista, baby.
What's this? There was another song that had that in it.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Okay, all right. So
yeah, we talked about that before,
right?
And I don't remember it.
So my guess is it would be for the Arnold, right? For the Arnold trademark of that, or Terminator 2, or
well, yeah, depending on who registered the trademark. Yeah, here it says the film the catchphrase was registered for the trademark in 2007 from the film The Terminator.
Well, so then who owns You're Fired?
It's
NBC, perhaps.
Yeah, The Apprentice. So it says.
So it's the company.
They would have. My guess is.
Although his trademark application was never accepted, the phrase is still alive and well in popular culture. No.
Or does he actually own it?
I don't know if he owns it or not. It says, although his trademark application was never accepted, the phrase is still alive. I don't know.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much. So on The Apprentice. So
I don't know.
I can't figure it out. I've forgotten everything.
I'm going to go through some other ones. Ancient Chinese Secret.
That was a TV commercial. Calgon.
Yeah.
Whisk.
No, Whisk. No, Palmolive.
Calgon, a water softening whitening detergent.
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Whisk was under the collar, right?
Yeah, that's ring around the collar.
That ring
Ancient
around the
Chinese collar, huh?
The catchphrase was registered for trademark in 2007.
Like
that's
20
kinda
years after
late
the
in
campaign
game.
ended. Yeah.
Okay. Bananas is one. Rachel Zoe was successful in trademarking her famous catchphrase bananas in the context of describing something that is crazy. Although challenged by a T-shirt designer, Zoe had the law on her side. I don't even know who Rachel Zoe is.
Not
Z-O-E. Maybe it's Zoe.
Yeah, but I mean,
that had to have been a while back.
So calling something bananas, this is bananas, and saying it in a derogatory, crazy way.
Wacky bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I found who owns You're Fired.
Okay.
And Steve, you're right. People did question if managers could tell someone they're fired without committing trademark infringement. Okay, so most people think Donald Trump owns it. He doesn't. There are 2 live registrations in the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office for You're Fired or derivatives of that. One registration is owned by You're Fired LLC in Bedford, New Hampshire for the use of the Paint Your Own Pottery Studio. And then the other one is for The Apprentice, and that's owned by God Speaks Incorporated in Atlanta.
Okay. Interesting.
You would figure it'd be like NBC Universal or.
All right, a couple other quick things, and then we got to take a break. We've known this for ages. Let's get ready to rumble is trademarked, Michael Buffer's phrase.
And they act. I think has he passed?
He's diligent.
But I know he was very diligent when that was. I don't know if he's.
But
passed.
he owns it, right?
Then he's probably still diligent.
Yeah. No, he owns it.
retired,
and he's alive.
So 1992 is when that was trademarked.
He was born in Philadelphia.
I didn't know that.
Really?
Huh.
How about that?
All right, and then finally, the last one is that's hot.
Oh, my
Paris Hilton.
God.
Paris Hilton. She trademarked her catchphrase.
Wow.
Yeah, in the peak of fame. Eventually ended up in a lawsuit against Hallmark, who used it on their greeting cards in 2007, although they claimed the cards were safe under the fair use law. So apparently she got ownership of that.
I saw her in an interview, basically, Preston, recently, where her voice is completely different.
Yeah.
And she says all that time she was playing a character.
A character.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, anyhow, Taco Tuesday, Taco Bell is trying to get that to be released from this Taco John's. And Taco John's, by the way, the CEO said in a statement, I'd like to thank our worthy competitors at Taco Bell for reminding everyone that Taco Tuesday is best celebrated at Taco John's. We love celebrating Taco Tuesday with taco lovers everywhere, and we even want to offer a special invitation of fans of Taco Bell to liberate themselves by coming to see how flavorful and bold tacos can be at Taco John's all month long. And then they're offering like a 2-taco deal. And he says, when it comes right down to it, we're lovers, not fighters at Taco John's. But when a big bad bully threatens to take away the mark of our forefathers originated so many decades ago, well, that just rings hollow for us. If living moss means filling the pockets of Taco Bell's army of lawyers, we're not interested.
That's a good comeback.
From now, the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board can take up to 2 years before it issues a decision. So, yeah,
interesting.
Very interesting. All right. We need to take a break because we need to stay on time. We're going live on Fox Good Day this morning. We'll get to that when we return, and we'll have the bizarre file as well. So make sure you stay with us. And we have a couple members of the Hooters stopping by today. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
If someone would somebody be able to pick out what region you're from?
I think they would say generic sort of south of the UK accent for both of us. Leah's got a
probably
slight
Midlands
twang.
Yeah, I'd say I'm Midlands RP.
Yeah, so you're sort of in the middle of the
Yeah.
UK. So yeah, people could place us, but not so specifically. I think.
It's so funny when some of our American viewers are like, Leah, you sound like Adele. I'm like, I
Like
really
Adele.
don't.
Really? She's from a
don't.
completely different area.
But she's a bit sharper, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite or least favorite British accent?
Oh, I love Welsh. Oh, I love a bit of Welsh. I do. And I heard that Philadelphia's got a Welsh bit of history here.
Well, in fact,
Sure.
yes, where you're at, Balakinwood is it's a Welsh name.
Yeah.
It's spelled B-A-L-A-C-Y-N-Y-D. That's how you spell Balakinwood. So that's clearly a Welsh derivation. So.
When you mock, when you are trying to make like a classic stereotypical goofy British accent, which do you target for it? What region do you target?
You'd probably end up being Birmingham, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you like Birmingham.
Yeah.
And Birmingham has been voted as like the ugliest UK accent for
Right.
years and years, which is so sad because it's
lovely.
a quirky accent.
Yeah, it's nice.
But no, I
I
think
love
we
them
just go
all.
for a posh like us, but
Right.
times 10.
Of course, I'm always doing when we do the royal family. We do
That's how he speaks.
Yes.
Pretty good, Steve.
Right, but I mean, and everything that I do is a very over exaggerated thing because that's how it resonates with people. But I love the subtlety, so we'll see how you guys do with it.
You kind of do a little Cockney thing sometimes.
Yeah,
too,
now
so-
and then.
Yeah. It goes,
It's funny though. What is amazing, we learned about Cockney, and I was just watching To Sir with Love, again when Sidney Poitier passed away. That Cockney speak, that jumbled
that
word,
ryming.
yeah.
Can you follow it, or do you need to be from the neighborhood to know what some of that stuff is?
It's almost like speaking in metaphors.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Things would ping out, wouldn't they? Like apple and stairs, we know apple and pears mean stairs, things like that. But we can, if someone was actually speaking it, which I don't think I've ever met
It's
anyone.
kind
who
of
speaks
dying
to me
out
in it.
now.
Yeah.
Like parents' generations that are from that area, then it kind of has now dissolved.
I
the
assume when you
Cockney
speak
rhymes
that way and you're calling for an ambulance and they can't figure out where you are, that's why you're dying out. 'cause
That's
you
it.
can't get medical assistance.
All right, so we are going to play Brit or Not a Brit. All right, and we've got callers on the line, and here's the story. We have given them.
We had to play that.
We've given them lines from movies that are based in Philadelphia to say to you. So if whatever they're saying makes no sense to you at all, don't worry about it. It's from a Philly movie.
Preston,
So,
by happenstance, I watched both Rocky and the second half of Philadelphia last night.
oh, perfect.
Yes, I'm all prepped.
You're up to speed on this. All right, so let's get our first caller on the line. Is this the order that we're going in? Yes. All right, we're going to go to Jen. Jen, good morning.
Morning to you.
All right, Jen, you are going to read a movie line for Joel and Leah, and let's see if we can figure out if you're a Brit or not a Brit. So go ahead, please.
You know what crazy is? Crazy is majority rule. Take germs, for example. In the 18th century, no such thing. Nada. Nothing. No one ever imagined such a thing. No sane person, anyway. Hey, look at this doctor.
Can't give a straight face.
No, she was good.
Okay, all right. Let's find.
Quite good.
Let's find out officially.
So
Leah,
tragic.
Leah, what do you think, Brit or not a Brit?
I think not a Brit.
All right, and Joel, Brit or not a Brit?
Not a Brit.
All right, Jen, what are you? Where are you
not
from,
a
Jen? Where are you from, Jen?
I am from Newark, Delaware.
Newark, Delaware. Not a Brit. All right, so somebody keep score, by the way.
They knew immediately. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a bit over the top.
Wasn't bad though.
No, it was decent. She was just it was just a bit augmented.
Right. It's like the way I do it.
What movie was that, by the way?
Yeah, what
Do we
movie?
even know?
Do you know what movie those lines were from, Jen? Because I couldn't pick up
Yeah,
on it.
that was from 12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys.
That was pretty hard, actually.
Yes. All
No,
right.
you did a good job.
All right, is Jen good? Are we giving prizes away? Or
Only
what are
if
we
they
doing?
stump them.
Only if they stump
Yeah,
them. Okay.
okay.
All
That's
right.
the way we do it here in the States.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You gotta
Jen.
You got to really do it.
Thanks for playing, though. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. All right, these guys are they're good on one. All right, let's get our next caller on the line.
It's quite a fun game.
And we're going to go to Duke. Good morning, Duke.
Hi.
All right, Duke, could you please give us the line that you're going to be reading for Joel and Leah?
Okay.
Be nice if you had it ready to go.
Give him a minute.
He's doing
Look, it's a name, man. The Italian stallion. The media will eat it up. Now, who discovered America? It's an Italian, right? What would be better than to get it on with one of its descendants?
The actor prepares.
Duke, I want to thank you for rehearsing that all night last night.
I watched that scene
Delivering
live
it
last night.
so wonderfully. Okay, so what do you think? Let's go, Joel, Brit or not a Brit?
I think he's a Brit. I think Duke isn't even his name because that's a very American name.
Okay.
I think he's a Brit. That's very good.
And Leah, what do you think?
I think not a Brit.
You think not a Brit? Duke, where are you from?
I'm from Manchester.
Joel got it right.
All right, so apparently Duke owns a barbershop called Blokes in Old City.
No kidding.
Very nice, Duke.
How long have you been in the States, Duke?
10 years.
10 years. Okay.
Wow.
Originally from Manchester. Were you a barber there as well, or is this a whole new
I
life?
was, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Nice.
I was a barber and a musician.
All right, and reading the info that you sent us, what other countries do you get mistaken that you are from?
Oh, okay. Irish, Australian, Kiwi, South African, all sorts.
All of them, yeah, I believe it. And that's a common refrain, by the way. People are like, "Are you South African?"
Oh my God!
on.
Yeah. To me, Australian and Kiwi, so different, and I don't know.
Oh, you use bloke. You use the word bloke. You must be from Australia.
All right, well, Duke, you did manage to stump Leah, so I think that's good for a prize.
Yeah, we'll hook you up with
All
something.
right, hang on a second, Duke. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Marissa, do I need to keep him on hold, or will we contact him?
We'll contact him.
We'll contact him. All right, I'm
It was
gonna let-
funny because my friend is Helen.
Duke
She's
go.
from Manchester,
Yeah.
and when he was saying a couple of things, I was like, "Oh my God, that's." And I was with her last night. I was like, "That's exactly how she sounds." So maybe I can pick out a Manchester accent.
All right, let's go with another caller. We have Peter on the line. Good morning, Peter.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. All right, so we have Joel and Leah here. We're playing Brit or Not a Brit. Could you give us the line, please?
I will do. Commodities are agricultural products like coffee that you had for breakfast, wheat, which is used to make bread, pork bellies, which is used to make bacon, which you might find in a bacon and lettuce and tomato sandwich.
Yeah, definitely a Brit.
Brit.
All right, you guys both say Brit?
Brit.
Yeah.
Where? Where's he
Right.
from?
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
Peter, well, yeah, if you were to narrow it down and you think it's legit, where would you say Peter's from?
I don't think he's from the south.
Can you say a couple more words, please? Just a few more.
Just say a few more words, Peter, if you would.
Well, what sort of words would you like me to say?
Yeah,
All
you
right.
did it.
Okay.
Philadelphia, London.
Should we go?
I think Midlands,
So
like Leah.
Midlands.
Where are you from, Peter?
Well, that's pretty clever because I was born in a city called Leicester, which is in the Midlands.
Wow.
You got the Midlands. You got the whole
done.
thing.
And how long
But
have
I
you
spent most of my life in London,
All right. And how long have you been in the States?
40 years.
40 years.
Damn.
Good for you, man.
You still sound like that?
Yeah, that is not faded whatsoever.
No.
All right. Well, thank you for playing, Peter. Unfortunately, you didn't stump these guys, but we appreciate you calling in and thank you for listening to the show.
It's like
Thank you. It was
All
all
right.
fun.
Take care, Peter.
normally an accent would go away. That's why the hilarity of having Scotty on Star Trek had that complete.
Yeah, I had when I was a kid, I had a very thick Southern accent.
Right.
I lived in the South growing up, and my parents speak with a Southern accent, but I shook it along the line.
By the way, that was Ralph Bellamy as Randolph Duke in Trading Places.
Yes.
All right. Sad day. All right, 7 so hey, Preston and Steve, you with us?
Yes.
Can we
yes.
do this?
Good morning, guys.
All righty. Hi. So there's this mom sparked a debate online saying that her babysitter seems to lie, like a lot, about kind of sometimes insignificant things. Like she would say, what'd you do with my kid today? I took her to the park. But she didn't take her to the park. Let's say, hey, Steve, what'd you do last night? And you tell me you went to the Sixers game when I know you didn't.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody
I was with
like
that babysitter. Yeah. No,
I don't know. I'm
Small.
not sure why people do it.
Yeah, small. Listen, everyone lies a little small now and then, like innocuous. I'm fine. I'll let that go. I mean, if you're talking about a babysitter and they're lying about what they did with your kid,
That's not
no,
yeah.
that won't work.
That's not good.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've met people, and like an insignificant lie won't really bother me, but I have met people that will be habitual insignificant liars. That gets under my skin quite a bit.
What you end up with is you can't trust a person at a certain point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Right. You lose trust.
Yeah. It turns out Kathy's not a ninja. And
for
years
we bought it. So.
Well, what do you
people
do
just
about
want
it?
to seem more interesting or seem like they're doing more than they are.
I will lie about stuff like that.
Calling them out outright, like saying, "Did you just? Are you lying about that?" is difficult. But what you can do is you can put them in a position to force them to squirm a little bit when you indirectly call them out and have them offer up some details that you know that they can't follow through on. That's always fun.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with a little good cop, bad cop too. You just do that sort of thing where you offer them a drink and then like the other person comes in and interrogates them. But if you realize that that's part of the character and you can't change it, then either you maintain your friendship with them on that level or you move on.
Yeah.
Who do you think is a good cop, bad cop in this scenario, Preston or Steve?
Of these two people,
I think we're two disinterested cops. I think that's the problem. I think that's the issue.
Preston is more of a police officer.
He's a bad cop?
No,
He's the good cop?
Would I be the rogue cop with a drinking problem whose wife just left him? Okay, I'm RoboCop. I'll take that.
Real quickly, happy anniversary, first of all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
And whose idea? You guys were around the bend from the very beginning. We're looking at the picture you posted. In a bathroom, Casey Boy on the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just kind of been the same ever since.
Yeah, we've been down the toilet. Yeah.
Yeah. That was 18 years ago that we started here at MMR, but we're celebrating our 25th anniversary as a show this month as well. So we've been, because we worked at Y100 before this. And it's a long time, but the bathroom picture, I don't know.
That's innocuous compared to some of the ones we have.
This is true.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, Casey's told us stories. We got the DVD of Casey doing different things.
Oh, Kill Casey. Yeah. That's from Y100. Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. All right. Well, congratulations.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you later. Take care. All right. Fox, good day once again. Let's take a look at traffic because we skipped out on that. Kathy's got the info. What's up so far this morning, Kathy?
95 southbound jams from Woodhaven to the Betsy Ross Bridge on the Vine. Westbound, you're slow the length. Schuylkill eastbound swing from 202 into Belmont Boulevard to the Vine. Westbound, Passyunk to the Vine, the Boulevard to Gladwin, and then near the Blue Road as well. The Boulevard southbound at the Schuylkill, there's construction. The ramp is partially blocked. On the Blue Road southbound, you're slow the Mid-County tolls to the Schuylkill and then Broomall over to Media. Northbound side jams from 95 to the Media bypass. 42 freeway northbound heavy the Black Horse Pike to 295. And then we have the construction Route 130 to the Walt Whitman Bridge. That is jammed. 55 northbound heavy 47 to 42. This traffic report brought to you by TeethKeepers.com. Dominion National offers dental and vision plans for everyone starting at under $8 a month at TeethKeepers.com. Enroll today at TeethKeepers.com. And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you, Kathy. By the way, this the picture on our social media on Instagram, Marissa, is that the one that has the audio of our very first flub ever on the Preston Steve Show? It was on our first day.
Yeah.
And I was reading an email from someone, and I totally messed it up, and Casey had to correct me. So that was the first MMR flub on the Preston Steve Show, because some of our flubs have become things that we've been come to know as,
yes, exactly.
if you will.
Yeah.
So that was a
good morning to see you.
And good morning to see you.
And so it continues.
Yeah, it's a tradition that we've carried on for 18 years now.
To be honest, have we ever trademarked or registered any one of those flubs? I know we've used some on shirts.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
By the way, Marissa sent the audio over. So this was the first flub ever on MMR, the Preston and Steve Show.
Back on the air, I missed your show incredibly. I've been stuck listening.
Oh, I was reading an email from someone. So
to sports talk radio and AM really tired of hearing about the losing Phillies and what a horrible offseason the Eagles are having.
That word's M.
It's been a while. It's been a few days.
I think the person had capitalized the word am.
Yeah.
And so I read it as AM.
Well, you're a radio guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what was the one that was recent? Or Egon.
Yeah.
Or Egon?
Right.
I said that? Or
you said it.
Portland, and you were like, or.
Oh.
Or.
So it was OR was capitalized, and it was the state of Oregon. And or. My favorite of all time was the cough E.
Yeah, that was great.
I love the Australian Shepherd. That was my favorite.
That was a good one.
Oh,
they
I
invited an
dog.
Australian Shepherd?
Yeah.
That guy's busy.
At a wedding.
I was like,
who's tending to the sheep?
It's a dog.
The cough E was the C of E, which is the Church of England. And the problem was they didn't separate COFE, and it was a capital COFE. All four letters run together. And so I'm like, the cough E. And someone from England had emailed me after that and said that they were just in absolute hysterics. Like they couldn't catch their breath. They were laughing so hard.
In defense of that and all these various flubs that pertain to things like that, if you ever watch, there's countless news loops of bloopers of actual news people, anchors who encounter these words all the time, screwing up royally.
Oh, yeah.
So it happens.
Preston, you mentioned England, and I forgot to tell you guys this, but I was in the parking lot of CVS last week, and I met a very nice young woman from England who'd been listening to the show for a really long time. Her name was Kat. She said to say hi to everybody, and she specifically said congratulations to Marissa and Matt for getting married. And she just could not have been a more charming, kind person. And I said, how did you find the show? And she just stumbled across the podcast while listening to random stuff in England, and she's been a dedicated listener ever since. So
we love that. We should invite people again to contact us because there's people all around the world that listen.
Which boggles the mind.
Thank you, Kat. That's awesome.
Well, thank you, Kat. That's very sweet of you. And also, I met somebody last night. I was walking past Fogo de Chao on Chestnut Street, and this guy's like, Marissa? And I was like, hey. He's like, hey, my name's Winter. I met you. I used to be at G Lounge. Do you remember this guy, Kathy?
G Lounge?
Wasn't he?
I had 3 testicles.
Didn't he do security for Camp Out?
Oh, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he did.
Oh, I don't know. Well, hi, Winter. He's a really big fan, and he likes
she
me.
wanted to say
So
hi.
that's all.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you, Winter.
We love people.
And I love summer, too. Let's do the Bizarre File.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you this morning by Coors Light. You can join the Preston and Steve Show live from Keenan's in North Wildwood Friday, May 26th for the official opening of the Jersey Shore. And you can be there starting at 6 a.m. And it's brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill down the shore. Wow, an amazing story to begin with. An Illinois girl who went missing 6 years ago has been found safe in North Carolina.
It's amazing.
Kayla Ubenhan was 9 years old when police said that her mother, Heather, abducted her in July 2017 from South Elgin, Illinois. A photo of Kayla as well as a photo of her mother were shown at the end of a 2022 episode of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix. And a store owner in North Carolina who had seen the show recognized the girl at a Nashville shopping center and called police. Her mother was arrested on Saturday and charged with child abduction before being released on bond. The department said the now 15-year-old is in good condition and good spirits since being reunited with her family. The department is also helping the family get social services. In a statement posted on the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's Facebook page, Kayla's father shared his thoughts about being reunited with his daughter. He said, I'm overjoyed that Kayla is home safe, and I want to thank the police, National Charter of the Missing and Exploited Children, and all the law enforcement agencies who assisted with her case.
Seeing this story made me think about that girl that was abducted from the park where the mother was there. Kathy, you remember that, right?
Yeah, here, around here?
Right, yeah. And so you always want to have hope. I mean, this is, a case that it's still gone unsolved, correct?
Yeah, still unsolved, Dulce.
Right, that's it, yeah.
Yep, so maybe, just maybe they can find more people like this. A 28-year-old driver found himself in the doghouse after he attempted to switch places with his dog when he got pulled over on suspicion of DUI on Saturday night.
So that'd be legal, right, if the dog was driving?
In a southeastern Colorado town. The police chief, Clay Klipfel, conducted a traffic stop on a driver Saturday. The driver attempted to switch places with his dog, which was in the passenger seat of his Dodge Challenger, a process that Klipfel watched as he walked toward the car.
So he didn't perform the move gracefully.
The suspect, who had clear signs of intoxication, according to police, got out of the passenger side of the car and told the chief that he wasn't the one driving.
So this Shih Tzu was driving?
Yeah. When Klipfel asked whether he'd been drinking, the man tried to run away. The suspect's getaway attempt
You should have sold it better.
Cut short about 20 yards from the car when he was apprehended. A man and woman who were sober were in the back seat, by the way.
Didn't think to call them up front?
The car belonged to the woman. Police said that they later found out the trio had been lost. The driver was later found to have had 2 active warrants. He was medically cleared at a hospital and then booked into the county jail for his warrants on suspicion of driving under the influence. As for the dog, the other 2 occupants of the vehicle took the pup along with that vehicle. A high school teacher pointed a gun at his wife after he showed up drunk to his daughter's track meet and wasn't invited to dinner at Olive Garden.
No.
Yeah.
Olive Garden's got great breadsticks.
The man, who is listed as a social studies teacher at a Pensacola high school, went to his daughter's track meet drunk
It's like going to Italy.
on May 4th. His wife, angry that he was drunk at a school function, told him that she wouldn't allow him to join the family for dinner at an Olive Garden.
You embarrassed me there.
Later, the teacher showed up at the restaurant belligerent and drunk. That night, his wife and their 2 kids were all sleeping in the same room at their home when the wife woke up to see her husband pointing a gun at her. She told deputies later that the following day, a neighbor took possession of her husband's guns. A warrant was issued for the man's arrest. He is charged with aggravated assault with a weapon.
So what restaurant, if you were left out of the invites, would make you draw down on someone?
Ooh.
I think I know what it is.
What?
Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, it's our favorite.
Yeah.
It's a go-to for sure. How dare you?
How dare you?
Police, this is messed up, are searching for an angler who went missing at a lake in Japan's Hokkaido, suspecting that he may have been attacked by a bear after a human head was found in the area Monday.
Oh.
According to police, a boat dropped off Toshiro Nikishawa, and he was fishing unaccompanied early on Sunday.
Did the head say what happened?
An employee of the boat operator later saw a bear nearby with waders dangling from its mouth and attempting to call Nikishawa, but could not reach him. The information prompted the town office to launch a bear hunt operation, and a member of the group killed one on Monday afternoon.
Don't mind if I do.
A human head was also discovered during the operation. They said they're not sure if it was the missing man's or not.
They're not?
Not yet.
The missing head was the guy?
Is this your head?
The lake draws anglers trying to catch Sakalen taimen, a rarely caught fish in Japan, as well as trout and Japanese smelt.
I think they're approaching it the wrong way. The head should identify the remaining body.
That's how they should do it.
Yeah. You can't ask the torso.
All right, this is a messed up story, as if that one wasn't. A Texas 12-year-old is accused of killing a fast food employee with an AR-15 rifle as he argued with another man who also faces charges in the fatal shooting. 12 years old.
12 years old.
The shooting happened Saturday night at a Sonic drive-in restaurant in the Dallas suburb of Keene. Officers arrived and found Matthew Davis with multiple gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital and died. Authorities believe that Angel Gomez was at the Sonic with a passenger in his vehicle. They began arguing and acting disorderly in the parking lot and was confronted by Davis, a Sonic employee. Gomez was allegedly urinating in the back of the parking lot when Davis came to talk to him. And during that argument, the 12-year-old shooting suspect, who was a passenger in Gomez's vehicle and remains unidentified, grabbed the AR-15 rifle from the car and opened fire. Davis was shot. Jeez. The child and Gomez fled the area. Gomez later returned to the scene and was arrested. The boy was later arrested at home. Several firearms were recovered there. Both are charged with murder. Davis, by the way, had just moved to the area and started working at Sonic 2 weeks ago.
Did you see the story about
and
that?
a 1-year-old son he leaves behind.
Horrible. Cab driver killed a 14, I think a 14, a 13-year-old, a 14 and 15-year-old. Just shot the guy in cold blood and robbed him.
Oh, it's horrible. Horrible. All right, we need something a
Lighter.
little more light than that, and let's go with this one. A cop on foot patrol found a very large alligator sleeping on one of Florida's Gulf Coast beaches, and things got strange from there. It happened on Treasure Island, with a photo shared by police showing the officer getting no response when he tapped the alligator's tail.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because it wasn't real. It was a sand sculpture that was painted.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
And it's huge, and it looked real. Luckily, the prank was revealed before it traumatized any early morning beachgoers. Nick's looking at the picture of it.
Steve, you got to come see this.
And they can paint sand?
Well, take a look at it. In the dark, if you saw this.
Oh, yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
Luckily, the prank was revealed before it traumatized any early morning beachgoers, and the identity
real.
of the officer was not realized, but the photo shows that he was prepared to challenge an alligator nearly twice his size. He made the discovery while on a routine beach patrol. Once the officer discovered it, it was just sand. He flattened it out for the sake of both people and wildlife. They may not have painted it, but yeah, it looks like a real gator. Somebody did a solid job of creating that.
How's your sandcastle game?
Oh, terrible.
Yeah,
I'm not any good at that stuff. I wish it was. And they do competitions down at the shore.
Oh, have you ever gone?
That are amazing. No, I haven't. I'd like to see them. I've seen pictures of them. It looks pretty incredible. That's what I have in the bizarre file for you at this point in time. And we are going to give something away. We have tickets to see Michael Carbonaro, who we spoke to yesterday. He's playing the Keswick Theater. It's called the Lies on Stage performance this Saturday. And tickets are on sale now at AXS.com. And there's information available at WMMR.com. We'll take the 15th caller, and we will give you tickets to see Michael Carbonaro on Saturday at the Keswick. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in just a moment or two. Don't forget that we are going to have on this program Rob Hyman and David Uosikkinen of the Hooters. We'll be back in a moment.
I live for Sundays. The whole family's together. Mum makes brioche. Dad puts the jersey on. We're all watching the game. Yes, it drives me crazy. And yes, I was negative. You didn't even know that I loved it, Nikki, but I did. I just didn't appreciate it or you before.
Okay.
The thing is, he could be a Brit. He could be a performer. He could be performing right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but what do you think if you had to?
My initial instinct was pretend,
I
not
think,
a Brit.
Yes, I don't think he's a Brit, but that was a very good attempt.
But when he said brioche, I died.
Yeah.
William, where are you from?
Yeah, that's not even fair. That was spot on.
Oh, he's from Delco.
All right, William, they found you out, but thanks, man. We appreciate it, buddy. All right, we'll see
It's
you.
pretty.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because all you have to do in many cases is convince people here. And so, you know, the hard part, that's why when you do pass muster, when a Kate Winslet pulls off something as mechanically difficult as a sub-accent, sub-dialect here, it's an amazing thing.
So the way he said yo, he said yo. That's how you say it in Delaware County, in Delco. Yo.
But you can so far, you can hear them trying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hard.
Like the Brits are just natural. In
That's
speaking.
why like when Meryl Streep pulled off the Polish accent in Sophie's Choice, you'll have dialogue and dialect coaches on set.
Right.
Yeah. That's how hard it is.
And by the way, you should visit some of the places that are named for English cities. Like you should definitely go to Chester and Camden and Kensington. No?
No,
you won't make
Those
it
are like
home.
the high crime areas.
Yeah.
That was that was a movie set in Delco. That was Silver Linings Playbook and Bradley Cooper's character.
Ah, thank
Well
you,
done.
Nick, for the clarification. All right, we have another caller on the line. It is Susan. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning.
Okay, Susan, we have Joel and Leah here determining Brit or not a Brit. Could you please read what we sent to you?
When you were making me, didn't you feel a certain inspiration? Almost like your hands were moved by force not of this world. You made this body so that I could come to life.
Okay.
The accent was good, but the intonation was all off, wasn't it? What do you think,
Yeah,
Joel?
I don't know. I thought that's really hard to tell because I think it could just be that she's reading a quote that made it sound slightly off.
Do you
but
want her to
still
say
really
brioche?
good.
Just say brioche. No.
All right, Joel, we're going to ask you.
No,
Make a
you know what?
decision.
I'm going to take a risk. Say she's a Brit.
She's a Brit. All right,
Okay,
and what do you
let's say
think? Leah?
Brit then.
She says Brit. All right, Susan, where are you from?
I'm from Philly, baby.
I think they really knew.
I think I know. It's just like,
You really knew. But that means Susan is a winner. So, Susan, we're going to get in touch with you and set you up with a prize, okay?
Sounds great. Thank you. This was so fun.
All right,
very
thanks
cool.
for playing along.
Very cool.
All right,
You guys
we
know
have-
what movie that was?
Is that Mannequin?
It is Mannequin. Kim Cattrall and Mannequin. You guys ever see Mannequin? There's Kim Cattrall, the actress from Sex and the City. She's a mannequin in a store in Philadelphia. She comes to life, and
It's a true story.
Yeah, it's a true story. Yes, right. It's a documentary, really.
That's why Kim Cattrall looks so plastic now.
oh gosh, you guys.
All right, let's get our next caller. We have Chris. By the way, we have like a dozen of these to do.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Hi, Chris. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
All right, Chris, we are going to get.
See, they already got a taste.
We're gonna need to have you deliver the line. Could you go for it, please?
Now that we know who you are, I know who I am. I'm not a mistake. It all makes sense. In a comic, you know who you can tell who the arch villain's going to be. He's the exact opposite of the hero. Most of the times, they're friends, like you and me. I should have known way back when. You know why, David? Because of the kids. They called me Mr. Glass.
Mr. Glass. All right. What do you think? Leah, let's go with you.
I was going to say Brit from maybe like the south, maybe somewhere near Essex.
Okay.
Yeah, I
what do you
think like could be a Londoner even.
Londoner.
I think definitely Brit.
Yeah.
Definitely
then
Brit.
didn't he say glass at the end instead of glass?
Did he?
I was like, wait, what? You've thrown me off the scent.
I heard
Northern
gloss.
Gloss. I heard, yeah,
Gloss.
GLOSS.
Oh, gloss. It was
Yeah.
the word gloss on the screen.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah,
No,
I'd say-
it was the word
it's
glass,
glass.
but
Oh, right.
to our ears, we heard him say gloss.
Might be,
I
yeah.
think I heard Glass. I think he's definitely a Brit.
I think me too, yeah.
All right, both of them say a Brit. And Chris, where are you from?
I am a Brit from Hatfield, Hertfordshire.
Yeah, North
Did you get it
London.
right?
Yeah, well, no, I was wrong, but yeah, London, kind of Londonish.
And where do you call home now, Chris?
Chester County, down in town.
All right, how long have you been in the States?
18 years.
18 years.
Wow,
And the
nice,
fact that they still retain a substantial part of that, it's pretty amazing.
Except for when saying glass.
Yeah.
So that's because he's lived here then.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
bit's come out.
Yeah.
So we had and we had this guy as a guest on the show a couple times. Louis Knight, he
Yes.
was a contestant on American Idol.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but he is like the only English person that I have ever heard sing with an English accent.
Oh, it's adorable.
Yeah.
All right,
Can you do
Chris.
an impression of it?
Chris,
Oh,
thanks
it's a
for,
lovely bunch of coconuts.
Chris, thanks for playing, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks.
All right, take care. All right, so you guys are doing pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty
I think they're
good.
doing
You've only
damn
missed a
good,
couple
yeah.
of them. All right. Let's get another caller on the line. Oh, what movie was that?
Oh,
from?
Unbreakable.
That was
Samuel L.
Unbreakable.
Jackson.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
Gloss.
you. I knew it
Mr.
was-
Gloss.
I don't know why I couldn't remember the name of the movie, but it's an M. Night Shyamalan classic. All right. We have Steven. Hi, Steven.
Morning.
Morning. All right, Steven, we have a... They're like immediately making their decisions when people say good morning. All right, Steven, do us a favor and read the line we sent you.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place. It'll beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody's going to hit as hard as life, but it ain't how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hit and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you are because of him, her, or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Right. Did it
Yeah,
start
better
off,
than that.
It started off like Scouse, then it went Scottish. It was like Liverpool, Scottish.
Do you know what? His Scottish accent is better than mine.
Yeah.
So if you're to say Brit or not a Brit, what do you think, Joel?
I'll go not a Brit.
Yeah.
Not a Brit.
No,
All right.
sorry.
Steven, where are you from?
I'm from South Jersey.
But I love that. That's a great quote from Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, he was hitting some of them pretty
doing
solid.
well.
Like the word hit, he said het.
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
with more of an A.
I like
E
that
sound.
he did like a Scottish version rather than going for like our accent.
That was brilliant.
What were you saying, Steven?
I was going for a North England Geordie accent.
Oh, so he knows his stuff. That's actually where Stallone is from.
All right, thanks for playing, Steven. Have a good one, man. All right.
Have a good one.
If you're just tuning in, we have Joel and Leah who are here in the States. They do a YouTube series, and they cover American culture, British culture, kind of compare the two, try some things out over here, sample a little bit.
It's wonderful watching, and they're very much likable. So and people love to see the differences.
Yes. And by the way, I saw BuzzFeed has all these great lists that pop up all the time, and there was one that was showing American sections of grocery stores around the world. And so usually there's a small rack of stuff for maybe who's a tourist or somebody who lives that then go get some of their creature comforts as far as food goes. And you know what I noticed on every single one of those photos? What do you think? What item, if you were to guess?
That is considered expressly American.
Yeah, it was very easy to spot by the packaging. Very bright packaging. It's a candy. I'll give you that.
Circus peanuts?
No.
Candy.
Circus peanuts.
M&M's.
No.
No?
It's a candy.
Yeah.
Skittles.
No. Reese's peanut butter cups.
Ah.
On every single photo that I saw all around the world. I'm like, okay, yeah,
So
sure.
not circus peanuts.
I'd want them.
Yeah, it's funny because my friend Helen hates American candy, and I can't stand British candy.
Ooh,
And she
I
offered-
like British candy.
Yeah, I can't do it. And they offered, because we were all at the same restaurant last Saturday, and she had a big box of British chocolate. I was like, no thanks. I'm okay with that. Which is crazy because I love chocolate. But she says that American chocolate tastes like vomit.
Yeah, it really does.
It's been like a test. They've tested it. The compound in American chocolate, I think it's the milk powder that they use, does to British taste like vomit.
Oh, that's why Hershey smells like vomit chocolate. It's vile.
We just can't eat
Oh my
it.
God.
But
So
it's also why Americans wouldn't like British chocolate.
I do like British chocolate, though. I like
do
dark
too.
chocolate, though.
Okay.
Oh, you're fancy.
There we go.
All right, we have 4 more to go with Brit or not a Brit. So let's get our next caller on the line. It's Carl. Hey there, Carl.
Morning, it.
All right, morning it to you, sir. All right, Carl, we sent you a movie line. Could you please give it for Joel and Leah?
Sure. Oh. See, I made Lewis a bet here. See, Lewis bet me that we couldn't both get rich and put y'all in the poorhouse at the same time. He didn't think we could do it. I won. Trading Places.
All right, that's from Trading Places, the movie. Okay.
He doesn't actually say it in the movie.
Brit or not a Brit? Let's start with you, Leah.
Okay, Brit, maybe from Manchester.
All right.
Union.
Yeah,
How about you,
he's
Joel?
being sneaky. He's definitely a Brit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Northern.
Carl, where are you from?
I'm from Harrogate, North Yorkshire.
Okay. All right, they got it. They got it right.
Well, you guys are good.
Did you nail the region? Is that anywhere near?
Well,
No?
yeah,
Well,
he's
it is
Yorkshire,
north,
he's north, but we thought
North is
Mancunian.
very generic.
Yeah.
So,
What
I
is
don't
the
think it's a point.
TH is an F?
Yeah,
yeah,
that's just
both.
like both. That doesn't belong to any region. That's just like relaxed speech. I
Yeah,
guess.
just a little shortcut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Adele actually does that. I think she'll use
Yeah.
an F instead of the TH.
A lot. She does a lot.
Yeah. And why is Liverpudlian so sing-songy? Like when Steve does his
Yeah.
Paul McCartney, it's really up and down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I don't know
It's
why.
just-
I
it's
really
got a
like it.
what?
It's got a
Yeah.
But the only thing about Liverpudlian accent I don't like is the K's. So when they say Coke, they'd say Coke.
Chicken and a can
It's
of
like a
Coke.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a very nice sound.
That's almost Hasidic here. Like
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate it, man.
This is my rabbi.
Yeah. How about, speaking of pronunciations, a popular one in slang is bruv.
Oh, bruv.
With a V on the end.
Ted
which is short
Lasso?
for brother, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
suppose so.
Or you
brother,
can say
bruv.
it to anyone.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, bruv.
It's
Or-
like a bro here, like we say, "What's
Yeah.
up, bro?" You know. So,
Yeah.
but we don't do the V. But that's one I've found that's very, very common.
This is my brother.
Yeah. Has anybody made you aware of John yet?
No.
Yes.
Oh,
John.
okay.
In Urban Outfitters, that man taught us John.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were asking about John, a person. I'm like, where is this John person?
J-A-W-N.
We learned that. We learned that, yeah.
Doesn't it just mean anything? Like
Yes.
this water
To
bottle,
now.
like, oh, this John. Or
Yeah. 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thanks, Kat. Don't forget we have a first school that has been chosen for the Preston Steve Coolest Teacher of the Year competition. And the school that was chosen today, we grabbed them randomly. We have a whole, jar full of names. And it's a little bit on the outskirts of our listening area, but Northern Burlington County Regional High School in Columbus, New Jersey.
Yes.
You are now in the running for that. And we want the students to just text the word teacher to 39333. We'll send you a voting link. And then tomorrow morning, we'll find out, the most popular name, and we'll give out the official Preston Steve Coolest Teacher of the Year coffee mug and a $50 gift card from our friends at Five Below.
And we're doing our best to kind of spread the love so that we're not hitting the same schools all the time.
Yep. So get yourself ready for that. We want Burlington County Regional High School to vote. And then tomorrow, it may be your school that we choose. Who knows? Speaking of schools, let's go to the Institute. And let's share some information, scientific studies that have been done.
The Just Sayin Institute?
Yes, it is the Just Sayin Institute.
Home of the Preston Elliott and Steve Morrison Trademark Services Law Firm. We established earlier. Yeah, just saying.
It is constantly expanding. All right, so a new poll finds that 1/3 of adults say that doing math gives them anxiety, and 1 in 5 are so fearful that math makes them feel physically sick. Yes, they feel ill from having to do math.
That's extreme.
Yeah.
So I did not excel at math. I'm functional. Sometimes though, for example, if I'm putting a tip on and I'm doing the addition, I do it so little, and now with having the multitude of ways to do calculations on your phone or whatever, easily ask. But I get a little nervous. Like, let me check again. So I don't think if I was doing math years ago, I don't think I'd be up for the challenge. What I used to do now.
Yeah, I used to be good at math. That was like my subject.
That was your subject,
but,
yeah.
But same. That's what I was saying. The phone ruined it. It's like you don't do anything, and
You
even
just
if
ask.
Even if you do, like even if I'm doing math in my head or on a paper or whatever, I check it. I take the phone out and I check it.
I very, 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 very rarely find myself having to do any type of math of any sort, and it's so much so that when I'm adding up, and the only time I usually do math is when I'm adding up my golf score. And if I'm playing with somebody else, I'm almost embarrassed because you'll see me counting on my fingers. It's terrible.
But what about when you go to a restaurant? You do math every time the check comes.
I find that to be very easy, though, because you just take 10% is easy and then you double it. And yeah, I know, but that's an easy one. But
yeah, if you have your standard go-to, and a lot of times, but still, I'm looking. I get a little nervous about doing that the proper way, but you're right. Just having all this technology around us that immediately answers the question, will convert for you, all that stuff. But were you an A student in math?
Yeah.
All right.
But Jace will ask me questions, and I'm like, yeah. As I'm opening my phone, taking the calculator out, I'm like, yep, that is correct.
There you go.
Could you do any type of algebra if it was put in front of you?
Now?
Yeah.
No, probably not.
Okay. What about fractions? How are you guys with fractions?
Decent.
Yeah.
Decent.
But I had to like remind myself because so Jace did fractions earlier this year, I think, and like adding, subtracting, all of them. I'm like, wait a minute, which one do you have to do this? And I had to I basically had to remind myself of the rules of it.
I think that's something that's sort of going to be extracted from the general, task because it's all more automated now. But you know who really has a good command of math? Contractors. When they're on job sites and your inches and all that stuff and adding and doing laying out blueprints, architects, all that stuff.
Mr. Peanut was by our house yesterday. We were looking at getting some stuff done, and he was throwing figures out left and right. They do it all the time.
There's a part of me that wishes I could Billy Madison it, because when I was in school and exercising that part of my brain, I was great at it, but I don't use that part of my brain at all anymore. But I know that that brain function was good.
It was there one time.
Smart at some point in my life. It's just I don't flex it ever, and so I wonder if I went back and took like 9th grade algebra or pre-calc or whatever.
Could you take it?
How well I would do. And Kathy, same thing with Ben. And he's in like statistics and calculus and all this stuff that's so beyond my level of understanding at this point.
I would die.
Yeah.
So the author of the study said that math is far more than a classroom subject. It's a skill like any other, and it can be improved at any age. As 2/3 of our respondents suggested, you don't always realize how important these skills are until you're older.
That's adorable that they think that could happen with me.
Over a third claimed that they would avoid taking a job if it mentioned having to deal with numbers and data.
Oh my gosh.
While a fifth believed their lack of confidence has affected career choices and impacted their earnings as well.
You know what amazes me, like in Hidden Figures, or when they're showing any scene in with they got it up on the chalkboard and they're going and this and that, and I'm like,
Yeah, I'm reading a book for the second time now. It's called Project Hail Mary, and it is loaded with calculations that are done constantly using trigonometry and all kinds of stuff. And they don't go into the finer details of it, but they do go into a little bit of formulaic things, and I'm totally lost when it comes to that
you look at that stuff, and it's just there was a shot of an equation. It might have been Stephen Hawking years ago, and it's two full chalkboards of this. It's just insanity.
Yeah, but when you're writing it down like that, I love that part of it. And when I was, I hadn't taken math in a long time, but in high school, when I was an A+ math student, believe it or not, my notebook was just spectacular. It was pristine. It was, and,
you love that,
and I did. And not only did I love to show my work, but my work was always nice and neat and all that, and I was pretty decent at it. But when I'm doing math in my head is when I start to get anxiety. You guys ever do Sudoku?
I hate it.
Sudoku. No. Rochelle does, and her dad does, and they play it all the time.
Okay. Yeah, I will play when it's easier. Because in the newspaper you have it. And,
it's an easier Sudoku?
Well, no, but it'll say like easy, moderate, and like expert. I won't even touch it if it's at expert.
Yeah, anything like that, I just check out. It's not the way my mind does not work in a linear fashion, and this is a savage reminder that it doesn't.
Some people experience anxiety, others get physically ill from doing math.
You say anyone evacuates their bowels when this?
Probably if they're
that'd
physically
be
ill,
me.
they're going to do that. So, all right, thought that was interesting. Here's another thing from the Just Saying Institute. Just saying.
Just saying.
A study.
Just saying.
That was published in the New England Journal of Medicine offers hope for kids with peanut allergies. 362 children between the ages of 1 and 3 tested a new patch that aims to offer protection against peanut proteins. 2/3 of kids who wore the patch were desensitized and can tolerate up to 4 peanuts. The leader of the lead author in the study, Dr. Matthew Greenault, said, amazingly, not only did it raise the amount of peanut tolerance in these children, but the nature of the reaction also changed. There was a decrease in the number of severe reactions.
What about this notion, and they were floating it out a while ago, that you could sort of expose the kid with the peanut allergy?
I think that's what this is.
It
Is
may
that what
be,
this
I
is?
think that might
Okay.
be. Is Annie, didn't I hear her say she's allergic to
Annie have a
peanuts?
peanut allergy?
I think she is, because she said that'd be a good way to kill her.
Annie, are you okay?
One of our interns.
Are you okay, Annie?
All right, Annie, come on in. Do you have a nut allergy or a peanut specific allergy? All right, we're going to move the mic up here. Go ahead.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a peanut allergy. And actually, during COVID, there was this whole trend of people who were like allergic to something. So they'd try to expose themselves. So I was like, well, I'll try it.
Oh,
I'll try
no.
it with peanuts.
No.
I used to not be able to eat any peanuts. I made it to 2 peanuts by like a month. And then I just stopped because it hurt so much. I had to stop.
What was your reaction to it like?
So my throat closes when I have peanuts.
Okay.
So
Like-
that's like the big thing. But I would like chop it up really fine, and
Yeah.
I'd like try my best to really try and eat a peanut, but it didn't work.
Do you know anybody else who's had success with exposing themselves to it and getting over the peanut allergy?
One of my friends was allergic to carrots, and she tried it, and she was able to beat it. So she like trained herself to eat baby carrots like little by little, and eventually she's now able to eat carrots normally. So
Have you ever had a near, like desperate situation because of peanuts?
not really. I knew from like an early age, so then I just kind of chilled out on it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm tapping out on the peanuts.
So, okay, you had 2 peanuts and then your throat started to close?
No, I just got bored of trying. I was like, this isn't gonna work in the long run. I don't have the patience for it.
Do you even like the taste of peanuts?
No.
Okay, what the hell?
It was
Why
just an
even work?
experiment.
Yeah. There you go. You're performing a lab experiment. I got it.
But you could technically, it could kill you, right?
Yeah, well, I guess so. I don't know. I've never made it that far, so I don't want to
Well,
find out.
we don't want you to go that far.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
don't want to test my limits.
Yeah, we like you here.
So if something has peanuts in it, you'll get a reaction from it?
Typically, they aren't as bad anymore. Now it's more or less just like, oh, I'll break out into like a small rash or something, but I still don't want to like push it too far.
We've heard that airborne, just the, like, I don't know.
Mine's not that serious. I
Okay.
just have it when I eat, so
all right.
It's not too terrible.
Have you ever looked into, medically trying to go through the process of being desensitized to it? It doesn't mean that
No,
much to you.
It doesn't mean that much to me.
If they could do something where they could shut down your entire central nervous system so you could eat peanuts, would that be worth it?
Maybe in the long run it would be. Not now though.
Not now.
All right. Thank you, Annie.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Wow.
it. All right. So, they've created this patch that might be a stepping stone to, relieving people of peanut allergies.
Do you have food allergies?
No.
I know, Kathy, you do, right?
And I'm allergic to everything. I
Right.
went to I was outside too long the other day, and I've been sick for 2 days now.
I have a medicine allergy. I'm allergic to
Yes.
what are called NSAIDs.
Okay.
Which is ibuprofen and aspirin, things like that. I can't take them. I went and actually had it tested at,
I remember this.
at Penn.
Yeah.
And it's like a 5-hour long thing.
And you were at the very end.
It was like there was like 20 minutes left.
You were heading home. You looked like you had beaten it.
And then I broke out, and they're like, "Nope."
You look like a clicker.
And then they hit me up with Benadryl, and I felt like I had just done like 3 straight shots of tequila.
Jeez.
Messed me up. It was great.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Did you see for people like Annie and even yourself? I just saw that they're trying to develop, or they are developing the EpiPen in a nose spray form.
That's
All right.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, might be easier. Well, we mentioned a couple of medical things. What do you think happens?
My man.
Yeah, let's get him on from Penn Medicine and Fox 29. Dr. Mike Sirigliano is on with us. Dr. Mike.
You know I'm a P1. I
Yes.
listen to
We know.
MMR
All the
from
time.
morning till night. We know. All day.
That's in our long list of reasons why we adore you.
Anyway, so look, my son has a peanut allergy or a tree nut allergy, and we noticed it when we were at a restaurant, and he had dessert, and he broke out in hives, and it had peanuts in it. Now, look, a couple of things here. Number one, no one should try to just like beat it or get over it on their own, because you can have what's called an anaphylactic reaction, which can be life-threatening, and kids die from this, and even adults die if they inadvertently get exposed. So there's a lot of research in this, because there's so many kids that have this type of an allergy, and what we do is in a controlled setting try to have exposure in a controlled way, and this patch is yet another development. And the EpiPen that Kathy brought up is another wonderful thing, because a lot of people, shy away from anything with a needle, but it saves lives.
Yeah, no,
absolutely,
very cool. So this notion, though, if you're under a medical supervision, where you can, by exposure, build up your tolerance for that, does that hold any water, Mike?
Well, yeah, and you do it in a controlled setting, because should you have a severe reaction, they have the medical tools available to save your life.
Okay.
You should have an anaphylactic reaction. So that's the bottom line. But, there's a lot of intrigue and theories as to why this is happening, and it certainly has to do with the immune system and whether or not we are actually in a very sterile environment, if you will. But I mean, you know that on airplanes there's no peanuts, and that is something that could be catastrophic.
Yeah, if you're on a flight, you have a
right.
absolutely.
But there's a lot of research going into this, and I think someday my son will be able to have peanuts eventually.
And he'll find out he hates them. So
he may.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dr. Mike, our intern Annie was just talking about eating peanuts and how her throat closes. Is that the onset of anaphylactic shock?
Well, it's giving me diarrhea just hearing about it. So, yes, Annie, you need to get an EpiPen. I don't know who you see or who your primary care or your doctor or healthcare provider is, but you should see them, because the more you get exposed, the more likely it is that you may have a more severe reaction. And what you're doing is you're priming the pump. And Annie, I don't know you, but you're lovely and wonderful, and you have a great future ahead of you. And I want you to make sure that you do this right away.
Well, I think she's had it her whole life. I'm sure she sees a doctor for it. I was just wondering if that symptom is, I don't know exactly. I've heard anaphylactic shock, but I don't know exactly what it is.
You have trouble breathing. I mean, you can die. You can die from anaphylactic shock. And so what I want her to do is to call her healthcare provider today and make sure that she has an EpiPen, and more importantly, to avoid any tree nuts until she gets set up with an allergist and everything is done in an appropriate way.
A couple of people are texting and saying, I'm sorry, Dr. Mike, that peanuts are different than tree nuts, that they're actually legumes. Is that how you say that word?
Legumes?
Well,
legumes.
yeah, in someone who has a peanut allergy, at least with, they always ask you at restaurants about tree nuts. And the bottom line is that with my son, anywhere we go, we mention the fact that he has a nut allergy, peanut allergy, and you'll see even when you go to the supermarket that it'll say made in a plant where there are nuts. So look, food allergies are a significant problem, but for her, she needs to get an EpiPen.
What if a restaurant asks you about D's nuts?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What kind of nuts?
D's nuts.
I had 3 testicles.
Never mind. All right, Dr. Mike, we love you.
Talking about. And Steve, I love that video you sent me. That was cool, man.
It's RC, a flight of jets.
They were turbines.
They
turbines.
I'm glad you liked it, man. I know it sits right in that pocket of yours. Yeah.
Turbines.
Yes. Love you guys.
Love you. See ya, Dr. Mike Sirigliano. Penn Medicine and Fox 29.
It's real quick question. A tree nut is a hard-shelled nut, and they are distinct from the peanut allergies, which are, and peanuts are legumes.
Then what's a digfer?
I don't know, but tree nuts include almonds, Brazil nuts, cashews, chestnuts,
pine nuts,
hazelnuts, macadamia nuts or tree nuts. Yeah,
But I think a lot of times they come hand in hand with the allergy. Like I know,
would think so.
Yeah.
They're just distinct from one another.
All right, so we could keep going on about peanuts and these nuts, but
there's
we're gonna,
more to learn.
We got to go back to
It's
the
a learning
institute.
Just saying.
All right, back to the Just Saying Institute.
I gotta go though. I gotta take Annie to the doctors because
Yeah, you do.
Dr. Mike needs her to see someone.
Some experts claim that breathing entirely through your nose can make you prettier.
Yes.
Oh my God, what do you guys think?
Catherine said nothing, never breathes through her mouth. That's why she's so gorgeous.
No, I perked up because doing yoga, you breathe through your nose. Like, you don't often breathe,
In
or you
through
do
the
sometimes.
nose and out through the mouth?
No, you breathe in through the nose, out through the nose.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I thought maybe you were going somewhere like that. But I mean, if it has to do with beauty,
Beauty and health benefits as well. So scientists...
So it's over the lips and past the gums?
Look out, butthole, here it comes.
My God.
No, scientist Mads Tomkrenyi says nasal breathing can prevent crooked teeth and an elongated face.
what it's going to straighten people's teeth? What are you talking about?
I've been breathing through my mouth all life.
Past studies have also linked breathing through the nose with lower blood pressure and lower stress anxiety.
You know, the whole notion of the right way to breathe or the wrong way to breathe. And I... it's been working for me for quite a while, so the method that I
You
employ
got it?
seems to keep me alive. But no, I don't think I breathe right.
And look at your teeth; they look great.
Thank you.
Well, there is, like, when you're talking about mindfulness or meditation or whatever, when you breathe consciously, when you pay attention to it, it can make a difference.
Oh, yes, when you're doing like a meditation or something like
Right.
that. But I mean, there's just a standard way that, you're told to optimize the benefits of breathing in addition to just living. And I don't think I ever do it right.
All right, it says here that mouth breathing, which you're not supposed to do,
right,
overstimulates certain cheek muscles, and this can make your face appear longer and your eyes lazier, or even change the shape of your nose.
Isn't it at some point a combination of the two? Right?
Look at Catherine.
Look, I breathe through my mouth. Look at my eyes.
That looks like your morning picture.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Nasal breathing has also been linked to less snoring, improved immunity, and reduced asthma symptoms. So breathe out of your nose.
You stupid
hideous beast.
Moron.
I mean, I can, like, when I do yoga, I can tell the difference if I'm not breathing correctly, if I'm not breathing in through the nose and out through the nose.
Okay.
Does your goat fall off your back?
My teeth get all crooked.
Oh, I say Billy Bob teeth. You're not breathing right. Straighten those teeth, Bubba.
Like they change immediately when you start
Like a werewolf.
breathing through your nose. All right, let's see. Back to the Just Saying Institute.
Just saying.
Scientific studies and information from our sprawling campus.
Yes.
Although
2,000 acres.
Although ChatGPT can provide patients with medical information and guidance, it acknowledges that it can't fully replace the value of a human physician. However, recent research indicates that physicians may be able to learn a thing or two about patient communication from the chatbot. In a study that was published, a group of licensed healthcare professionals evaluated responses to approximately 200 medical inquiries posted on a public online forum, including questions about medical diagnoses and the need for medical attention. And the study found that responses from ChatGPT were rated significantly higher for both quality and empathy and were preferred over physician responses. Essentially, they're saying that the ChatGPT has better bedside manner.
Isn't that crazy?
Some doctors do.
Not better than Dr. Mike, but yeah.
Dr. Mike's the best.
I've had doctors in the past, I've been to doctors, I should say, that had very bad bedside manner.
Absolutely. I have as well. I think that there are a couple of different type of doctors. I think that there are that are some who are interested in the field, want to have success in the field, but it's like the movie The Doctor. They become you're a number, you're a job.
You're a sandwich is being prepared.
You're a task, and they're going to take care of that task, and they want to do it properly, but they don't really take into consideration. I think that the other type of doctors, I think, are legitimately interested in your well-being, in you feeling good, and you being happy, and you being a person that doesn't have the stress of the issues that you're dealing with.
I mean, that's Dr. Mike.
That's Dr. Mike.
You described him.
Yeah. And I've recently, with my dad, taken him to a couple different doctors. I've met some along the way that are that way too. And
That's great.
It's so wonderful when you come across that. But you can tell somebody right away. I've met a couple of people that were very cold.
Yeah.
And along the lines of the movie The Doctor with William Hurt, which is an amazing film if you've never seen it, about somebody who just has lost the human connection.
Gets it back in a very dramatic way.
Yeah, very much so. On average, ChatGPT scored 21% higher than physicians for the quality of responses and 41% more empathetic, according to the studio. But it says that it does lack expertise.
Yes, I like expertise in my doctors.
It's you do have to weigh that.
Turns out the toaster lost that patient
into the factor as well.
It's funny if you watch the rebooted Battlestar Galactica. It's actually the machines that are more religious and emotional. And yeah.
Interesting. There was an article you had sent over, Steve. I didn't get a chance to read it yet because it was very, very lengthy, but it's about AI and how they got to pump the brakes on
Well,
this stuff,
now
man.
they had a big hearing in Washington. I think it was yesterday, and they had one of the main creators. Elon Musk has as well, but this guy was sort of a holdout. But he's now hit the point where he says, "We need to stop.
Yeah.
We need to take a breath."
I saw a graph in that article that essentially said that by the time we get to 2045, that some AI is going to have the intellect of the collective world brain power combined.
Yeah,
like everyone.
That's Black Mirror. That's scary as F.
It is.
It was nice knowing you guys.
Yeah, it was, right? And 2045 is not that too far off.
I will recommend this movie, Colossus the Forbin Project. It was made in the early 70s, but it's right where we are right now. It'll scare the F out of you.
All right, something different from the Just Saying Institute that you might find interesting. Researchers in Japan found that the buzz of insects could help gamblers feel less stressed and less likely to relapse.
Really?
Authors wrote that stress is a trigger for gambling addicts, and so lowering stress could help prevent running back to the slots. The team examined the heart rates and stress levels of 22 men between the ages of 25 and 60 with diagnosed with pathological gambling. Those who listened to nature sounds,
like Africanized honeybees,
as opposed to city noises, were more relaxed and in a better mood.
Well, that makes sense. Natural sounds, environmental sounds, the kind of stuff you might put on to fall asleep is going to have a better effect on you, right?
The co-author said nature therapy may be useful for stress reduction in various patient groups and the general population, especially as our society becomes more artificialized. Kathy, when we went to Longwood Gardens the other day.
Yeah.
Didn't you just feel nice walking around there?
Yeah.
This is so beautiful.
No, you should have heard both of us. Like we were like, this is like we forgot. We could come here for a full day. You could just come here. They have a beer garden.
It's
they
gorgeous.
have food. They have like we wanted to stay.
Preston, now that we're alone together in this very pastoral area, if you ever come near me sexually, I will rip your goddamn head off.
I did
just want you to know that.
I did feed him grapes.
Did you?
She did, yes.
Aw,
yes, I got fed
that's
grapes by
wonderful.
Kathy Romano.
But
It's a
that
bucket list
sound,
item.
like I look out the window and I see the trees blowing, the leaves and all that stuff, and that's a sound that I like. I like that sort of that outdoor sound. It immediately calms me down, as opposed to say a hydraulic machine, Preston.
Yes, exactly. So if you have a gambling issue, go hang out outside for a little while. It might help. I don't know.
When you were Mr. Devereaux, your gambling alter ego, did you rely on calming sounds?
No, I was away from the natural, beauty, and was hanging out with people in a casino.
See, when I see people at a casino step outside, it's usually to smoke.
Yes,
absolutely. It's not to take in the
go out and hang out with
pastoral
nature.
sounds.
When I was a senior in high school, I remember this. I wish I could find it, but my mom convinced me to, I forget what the assignment was, but I did a report on the benefits of sunlight. And obviously my mom is, and she was like, you should do this. And she gave me like all these, documents and stuff that she had because she was a nurse. And so she had all this stuff. And I did a whole report on it. But like people were, they were were amazed by it, like the stuff that I was reporting on, and how how it can benefit you and your health and just your.
You just said you got
overall
sick being outside.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, but people's overall happiness
Yes.
was increased by going outside for 15 minutes a day or whatever it
I
was,
agree, yeah.
just to sit in the sun.
It does make a massive difference.
But yes, Steve, you just said you look outside and you see the trees. Right now, I look outside and I do see my allergies just flaring up.
Oh, really?
I've changed where I parked my car here because there was so much pollen on my car when I was coming out of work, and I would have to touch the handle to get into the car.
So I had it a couple of days ago. In fact, the Inquirer is reporting that we are right in the heart of a slamming pollen season. So I usually every couple of years I get it. Had it for a couple of days ago, and I'm over it now.
I was thinking of you because you said you don't typically get it, and I heard a report saying that it's so bad that people who don't normally have allergies are suffering from allergies.
That was me.
All right. All right, well, anyhow, get outside if you can and deal with your allergies.
And gamble.
It won't make it stressful.
Get outside and gamble.
All right, that's it for the Just Saying Institute, my friend. Thanks for swinging by the campus.
Just saying.
We do appreciate it. We do need to take a break because we have members of the Hooters are going to be joining us. Rob and Dave are going to be here. And
They're here.
They are here. Wonderful. They're in the Acme Lounge as we speak. Don't forget, we have a live broadcast coming up. It's called Keenan's and the official opening of the Jersey Shore. Details, WMMR.com. We got this other thing called the MM Barbecue. That's coming up, too. Here's some details about
Preston and Steve.
On 93.3 WMMR.
John is the bottle and John is the water as well. So.
Were you just at an Urban Outfitters store? Were you shopping?
Yeah, we were just having a look around, and then randomly one of the employees, lovely man, would start just teaching us Philly slang. Lovely.
I don't think they'd ever seen Londoners before.
Yeah.
Because then we heard him going around going, they're from London.
Oh my God, it was
They look human.
You know what? I'm going to tell you about this city that you may find surprising because Philadelphia has a reputation for being a bit cold and well, not cold, but rude
Rough, yes.
and tough. But
No.
when I have brought people in from out of town and I'll show them around the city, I kid you not, they can tell, like I remember pointing up at City Hall and mentioning Billy Penn's hat and so on. A person came along wearing I think they were wearing a Rocky shirt. And just started jumping in on the conversation
Right.
and offering up, and they were like, "Oh, there's a little version of the statue on the Comcast building."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I know," and so they just started sharing information. I think you'll be surprised to find out how friendly people actually
They are. They really
here
are.
and want to show you. People are very proud of this city, extremely proud of this city, and will want to offer up, hey, here's some slang for you guys, to kind of help you out around town.
Yeah, I don't think it gets enough limelight, does it?
Yeah.
No.
Well, we've got some stuff like the Love Statue, for example.
Did you know Urban Outfitters headquarters are in Philadelphia? If you go down South Broad Street in the Navy Yard, that's where their headquarters are. It's a pretty cool place.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
so cool.
3 more for Brit or not a Brit.
Okay.
I have John. Good morning, John.
Is this a John or?
This is a John. Not a John. All right, John, are you ready to try this?
Ready to go, Rob.
All right, let's hear it. Here we go.
There will always be a part of me that's dirty and sloppy, but I like that. Just like all the other parts of myself. I can forgive. Can you say the same for yourself? Can you forgive? Are you capable of that?
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's good.
They're a little confused. Let's see if we can get an actual answer. Leah, what do you think?
I think he's a Brit.
Okay, what do you think, Joel?
Yeah, I think a Brit. From London, I think.
Yeah.
From London.
That accent was definitely like Cockney style East London, wasn't it?
Okay. John, where are you from?
Well, I'm not a slut, but I'm 100% American.
Somebody get
Well
him a
done,
beach
John.
We have a winner.
Hey.
Nice. It says here you're from South Jersey?
I'm from South Jersey, Sewell, New Jersey.
Nice. Where did you pick up this ability to mimic the accent?
Watch a lot of YouTube, Preston.
Watch them, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, make sure you watch Joel and Leah. You'll love it, man.
Perfect your accent.
Absolutely.
All right, John, we'll be in touch. We'll get you something for your trouble, my friend. All right, we'll go for 2 more.
Also, Silver Linings Playbook. That line, yes, it was Tiffany, yeah.
Thank you. All right, Catherine, are you there?
I am. Morning.
All right, we have 2 Brits here that are going to try and determine whether or not you're faking it. Let's hear you deliver the Philadelphia-centric movie line we sent you for them. Go ahead.
Hey, woman. Hey, woman. Listen here. Since your old man ain't got no heart, maybe you'd like to see a real man. I bet you stay up late every night dreaming you had a real man, don't you? I'll tell you what. Bring your pretty little self over to my apartment tonight, and I'll show you a real man.
Okay.
Do you know that line, Preston?
I don't. What is that?
Rocky 3.
Yeah, it's Clubber Lang.
Oh, man.
Remember when they're standing in front of the Rocky statue? You woman, bring your woman over here. I don't know who the man is.
I haven't seen Rocky 3 in so long. Okay, let's go to Joel and see if he can determine Brit or not a Brit.
I thought she was very good, but I think not a Brit. I think California.
California.
California Brit.
Valley
you,
girl.
Leah?
I thought it was a very, lovely, eloquent delivery, but I think not a Brit, so I'd be very surprised.
Catherine, where are you from?
Originally from Lancaster.
All right, Lancaster, PA.
All right, well done.
You didn't get it past him, but thank you very much for helping out. All right, we have.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we have one more to go in Brit or not a Brit, and the final person is Robert. Robert, are you there?
Top of the morning, it.
All right, top of the morning it to you. All right, Robert, we sent you a movie line from Philadelphia. Go ahead and give it to us, please.
You know where Southpaw comes from, I'll tell you. A long time ago, there was this guy, maybe a couple of hundred years ago. He was fighting around, I think it was around Philadelphia, and his arm, he was left-handed, and his arm was facing toward New Jersey, you see, and that's south. So then naturally they call him Southpaw. You see, Southpaw. South Jersey, South Camden, Southpaw. You know what I mean?
That's from Rocky Balboa.
Yes, yeah.
remember
when
that.
they were on the ice
Rocky.
skating rink.
What's that?
Number
Rocky.
Oh,
one. Not Rocky
yeah.
Balboa. Yeah, he's skating around with Adrian.
That's in the
ice
South
skating
Pole,
rink.
South,
Yeah.
South Philadelphia, South America, South, North, a direction, as in directions you might go, one of them being south.
And that's where we got it.
Yeah.
Joel, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Brit. I think he's from Ireland.
Oh, poor man. He probably doesn't want to identify as British, does he?
Yeah.
And
What
he's
about-
Irish, yeah.
You think he's Irish?
Yeah, I don't want to offend any because Irish people don't like to be called British, but for the sake of the game, British.
follow you.
Okay.
But
All right.
I think Irish.
Robert, where were you born?
Glasgow, Scotland.
How did we get that
so we
wrong?
got it so wrong.
That's
I'm sorry, but that was
embarrassing.
so Irish.
Is that offensive to him?
You know what? I think Scottish and Irish get annoyed at English people for mixing up the accent.
No,
You're
we've
right.
just- Oh, we've just done.
I'm
done him
so
a
sorry.
mistake.
You guys are so right because one of my favorite vacations my wife and I took was to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And that is clearly something they're not fond of having the accent, the dialect confused. Yes.
No, I'm so sorry. We're such idiot English people.
Robert,
So sorry,
Robert,
mate.
can you get past this this comment they made?
I identify as Scottish, so I'm okay with it.
You identify.
Where do you live now, by the way?
I live in Wilmington, Delaware, but I work in Delco.
Okay,
Ah,
you're in
Delco.
How long have you been in the States?
15 years.
15
years. All right, man. Well, thank you for playing along. We appreciate that.
Cheers.
All right,
All right,
take care.
take care,
All right, there you go. Brit or
Well
not a Brit.
done.
All right, so
By the way, you guys killed it. You did a great job.
yeah, how did anybody keep a score?
Yes. Somehow Joel ended up winning. 7-6.
That's what we said would happen. He's the linguist.
7-6.
Yeah, Joel got one right that Leah got wrong.
And then we had how many on there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We had 11, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's damn good.
Absolutely. It's a difficult thing, especially over a phone.
Yeah. There were a couple of them where I was like, yeah. Yep. You could tell right away, just trying a little bit too hard.
When Joel and Leah started laughing
Yeah, yeah.
immediately on something, never a good sign.
I have a sixth sense. I see dead people. No, that's Japanese.
Now, to put you guys on the spot, do you have any American accent that you try to pull off?
No, we can only do generic Valley Girl, can't
Generic, yeah.
Okay.
Valley Girl.
do
Try,
that.
give it a shot.
we? Okay, so give us something to say and then.
That's the hard part, is coming
Oh,
up with
okay.
something.
We can just
Tell us what you're doing today.
Okay, so today we are going to Preston and Steve, and then after that we are gonna try a Philly cheesesteak.
Well done. She even got the vocal fry in there.
A slightly confused.
Right.
Vocal
fry is very
Little
yeah.
Kardashian.
Yeah.
Yep, there was a little Kardashian in there.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's all our references, isn't it? Really. We
Yeah.
don't get a lot of.
Sadly.
Sadly.
How about you, Joel? What else are you doing today?
We might go to the Rocky Steps.
Yeah.
And to the penitentiary.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna have a good time, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
all right.
Antiseptic.
Yeah.
By the way, Eastern State Penitentiary, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
that
what
is
we're
very
thinking
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, it was roundly condemned by Charles Dickens. So when for driving prisoners stone cold mad.
That's exactly what it did.
Yeah.
Yes. So you guys are in town for the next few days, and
Oh, yeah.
how quickly will the videos you make end up being put up, or do you need to spend time editing, or are you going to put them up as you go along?
So the first Philly videos will probably be out this week,
Okay.
maybe next week. So yeah, if anyone's just wanted to jump on our channel and have a little watch of us,
You guys
then
are
you can.
so much fun, and I encourage people who haven't checked you guys out to check it out. It's very likable, and it's a great distraction and diversion, and it's wonderful.
And so I was telling these guys off air that we're supposed to get a bunch of snow on Friday into Saturday, and they really should. If you have the right gear, try and go sledding down the Art Museum steps. It is a real thing that really happens when it snows out.
It's
We'll
worth,
definitely give that a
it's
go.
worth
Uh-huh.
getting the gear for, isn't it?
All the gear,
They'll
no
set
idea.
you up.
Yeah.
And give out your social media and YouTube channel and all that stuff.
Yeah, sure. We are at Joel and Leah, JoelandLia, on everything.
Okay.
So you can find us that way.
Perfect.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you guys for coming by.
Thanks for having us.
It's great to
That was
see
fun.
you,
Thank
and
you so
hopefully,
much.
hopefully we'll be over there again.
Yeah,
sometime.
see you in London, guys.
Come on,
And,
man.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. All right, Joel and Leah, let's hear it for it, guys. With that, we are going to take a break. We will come back in just a moment, so make sure that you hang close, my friend. The band Coheed and Cambria will be at the Leah Core Center on July 27th. Tickets are going to go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. at CoheedandCambria.com. They are promoting their highly anticipated new record, which is Vaxis to a Window of the Waking Mind, and spiraling somewhere in the United States as we speak on a bus, headed out on tour. He is joining us live. Please welcome the singer of the band, the man behind the music, Mr. Claudio Sanchez. This morning. Claudio, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, man. Listen, I'm going to be straight up with you from the very get-go, because we're excited about having this interview, and I just have the smallest amount of knowledge of Coheed and Cambria. I've been aware of you guys for a long time. I only know a few songs, and I was like, man, do I kind of, BS this guy and just pretend like I know all of his music and do the interview that way? But then I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? You've got such diehard fans. The fans know about your music. They're going to go to your show. But how about the people that might not be that familiar with? And let's bring some new people on board this. And so I want to be one of those people. And the reason I know I'm going to be one of those people is I had the same type of sensation of just checking out and diving into your catalog in the last couple of days that I had when I first, somebody turned me on to Rush. Okay, so I'm a prog guy, and Rush is my band. And when somebody played 2112 for me the first time, that was my first dive into conceptual music. And I was like Pinto in Animal House when he finds out that there's an atom on your fingernail could be a tiny little universe. I was just like, I can't handle this. I was blown away. So I'm really open to diving deep into the world of Coheed and Cambria, because it's a very dense universe. There's a lot of material there. And I bet you love hearing about people coming on board and really experiencing the music,
Yeah, well, that's actually a big conversation we had when making Vaxis 2 with our A&R Johnny Minardi. Is just like, Coheed and Cambria has been a band now like 20 years. And it's like, well, what does that look like to somebody coming on board? And it's not that different from, say, like somebody getting introduced to maybe the Star Wars universe and then realizing there's this whole mythology, this whole catalog of records behind them that's vast, and so yeah, I mean, it's definitely a conversation that I love sort of having, is like, this is way more than just music. It's a culture, and all because I started it as a kid because I was shy. I just had a hard time singing about myself, and I was afraid to let people know about me. So I created a concept to hide behind.
And for those who don't know, Claudio, is that the band's work, now listen, there are concept albums. There's The Wall, and there's 2112, and there's Dark Side of the Moon, and these albums that have this entire, project that's just filled with this story, and it's amazing. But the band's entire work, from what I understand, is all a conceptual piece. Is that a correct assumption or a correct characterization?
Yeah. Yep, with the exception of one record, which was called The Color Before the Sun, but everything else is part of a mythology I constructed, a science fiction epic called The Amory Wars, where Coheed and Cambria... Yeah, where Coheed and Cambria are essentially, in the first 5 stories, act as kind of the Adam and Eves. They sort of set the whole mythology off. And then everything else is really about their sons coming into manhood, like an adolescent growing into a man and understanding like his place within this universe that he essentially has control over. And then after that, we kind of fall into this new story arc that we're working on called Vaxis. And that, when I look at the Vaxis story arc and I think about myself in there, whereas like those original Coheed records, I see myself as the adolescent and I'm growing.
Thank you very much, Kathy. Yes, indeed. We are welcoming to our studio this morning. The new album, by the way, from the Hooters is called Rockin' and Swing. And they're just off of 3 sold-out shows at Ardmore Music Hall this past weekend, which were amazing, according to everyone that we spoke to that went to go see them. Please welcome Rob Hyman and David Uosikkinen.
Hey.
Morning, fellas.
Morning.
Yeah. Good to see you once again. And, we were just talking off air how great the shows were at Ardmore Music Hall. You had fun?
We did. It was a blast.
Nice.
Yeah. Great crowd. It was fun.
And so you did like, I guess what we would call an evening with, because you had an intermission and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so you have a whole new album of material.
And we played most of it.
Did you really?
First set was kind of the retro set. Absolutely. Amore, and then the new album. And then the second set, we went into the chestnuts, the hits.
Yeah.
And listen, they're beloved songs, but I got to say, listening to the new stuff, and I know it was a sort of a conscious effort to return to kind of a period of the band's history. And it's like, this sounds like Hooters. It sounds like the Hooters we were introduced to. So, but in reading about the genesis of everything, and I said to Preston this morning, I had no idea how much of a basis in ska you guys originally had, and that was, would that have been the core sound you were going through in your band's earliest stages? Ska?
It was.
Yeah.
Big time. We played it all night. It was, the early 80s was a time that we were influenced by the two-tone scene from England, or more commercially, the Police. They were combining reggae and ska. We were big reggae fans through the 70s and 80s.
Great stuff, yeah.
And it was always in the back of my mind and all of ours to try that. And then we heard the Police was like, guys, we got to get on this train. So there were groups like Madness was Specials. We saw Madness. Selector.
Yeah, love all of them. Yeah. It was a big trend at that time.
Yeah, it was.
It's interesting because there are certain types. I tend to favor, more introspective or like a prog rock. But the one type of buoyant musical sound I can take is reggae and ska. Because it to me it seems more complex and more, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
seems
rhythmically,
fun.
yeah.
It seems fun, yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
We had a great time playing it. All the cover tunes we did
Did a lot
back
of
then. For
covers.
Your Love was a ska version of that. Yep. So everything that we played that was someone else's songs, we're playing in that flavor.
And it's very rare that you have substandard musicians because it's more demanding.
Well, it's tricky stuff because, especially with David on the drums, who was a natural for it, a lot of those rhythms are kind of reversed. If you're a drummer, you expect the backbeats.
all the alcohol.
The alcohol and everything else.
That's what did it.
Well, things are just backwards. The bass lines, the rhythms, and Eric and I were writing. Zombies was one of the first, fighting on the same side. They had these different kind of grooves, and we hooked up with David, and he just fell right to it like it was a natural. So
the reggae groove, for those of you who don't know, it's a standard rock beat. The backbeat is on the 2 and 4, so you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But reggae, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And you can play that.
Or it might be 1, 2, 3, 4.
And you're articulating all the cross stick stuff on the rim of the drum.
Yes.
That's all in between. It's like a lot of people call them ghost notes. So you hear a rock drummer play like a shuffle. You're playing that on the rim of a drum with reggae and putting the bass drum and
like a Stuart Copeland sound that you hear.
Copeland is one of my favorites.
It's tricky. It's tricky as a drummer. Kathy, you remember when we were in Jamaica and we were out on the beach and there was that reggae band that was playing.
Yeah.
And everybody's out, we're dancing this. It was on the beach and I gestured to the drummer. I'm like, I play drums. Can I jump in there? And he goes, sure. He hands me a stick. So I jump in and I start playing. And I'm playing that reggae beat.
Cool.
And everybody's dancing and everything. And then all of a sudden I accidentally slid into 4/4.
Right, and they look at you like...
But they kept playing along.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm jamming. I'm having a good time. I'm like, uh-oh. I'm playing rock
Yeah,
beat
but
now.
you were kind of like into Toots and the Maytals, because actually that was the beginning of it. And you hear the early ska music, that Toots and the Maytals, and then Marley and Tosh that came a little later. It was all the ganja.
Yeah.
You know, they slowed it down.
You can't play this fast.
You know what I mean? So
well, the other key too is the bass is a central, and Fran Smith on right
Amazing.
now, and John and Tommy, the other guys in the band.
Yeah.
They do these upbeats on the guitars, and there's a thing where the guitar tends to double the bass line. So if you listen to the old Wailers records, there'll be 2 or 3 guitar players going, one just going chink chink, and the other guy's doing the bass line, but in a muted guitar thing. So there's all these little pieces of a puzzle. It
takes a lot of discipline, you know, playing it as a band, because you have to keep your mind, okay, this is what I'm doing. You know, the guitar player, like you say, it's kind of
sounds easy, but there's a kind of a, again, there's a little trick to it.
Well, then, Rob,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but with the keys, what's the role there?
Well, the keys, there's a thing we call the bubbler, and the bubbler is like a lot of these. I've listened to this stuff for ages, and I'm still trying to get it
You're
down.
the best at it, man.
They're doing these
humble.
rhythmic in between beats. So while the guitars are going chink chink, you have the organ bubbling. Literally, there was a keyboard player named Bubbler, one of the guys back in the day.
He knows all those guys. He's been doing it since he's been a kid.
So
I
collect
DNA.
vinyl from there, and it's just fun. I mean,
it's fun to watch too. It's fun to watch. You know, it's a more kinetic thing to see.
Yeah.
So
it's very danceable too. And I'm not a dancer at all, but that kind of music you just have to move to.
Oh yeah.
And then back to our early days, that's all we did was
the early days. He had the greatest record collection. I remember when we first started playing together. I went to Rob's house. Apartment, and he had a record collection with Linton Kwesi Johnson and all these guys that turned me on to Robbie Shakespeare and Sly Dunbar, all these drummers that I never heard of, you know. It was just unbelievable. It was like an encyclopedia of music.
So we came back to it, basically.
Well, I'm glad that you did, and I'm glad that you guys are still in existence as a band, because I think about the business. Well, seriously, like the business of music, the business of any art.
It'll kill you.
It's really difficult, Dave. You know, I mean, and so I want to ask both you guys, when was it that you realized, like, you're doing a big show, that this can be a job? This is my career right now, and what I'm doing is no longer just tinkering in the basement or playing with some friends, that this is actually something that I might be able to do professionally?
I can answer that question because it was the very first show we did at Maddie's Place in Levittown in 1980, which is Davey's turf.
Yeah.
He probably booked it.
Yeah.
And we went in with zombies fighting, really a mix of crazy songs, some rock. We were doing some covers, Petty and Joe Jackson, whatever was around.
Yeah.
And then we went in with this reggae sound. And I remember finishing the gig going, wow, this might work, literally, and it did. From that was in 1980, and we haven't stopped.
And it was so much fun. We had so much fun playing it together. It was unbelievable.
When did you quit your other job that you probably had while you were still a musician at the time?
That night.
Yeah, you worked for a long time. I sort of, when you asked that question, I mean, when I was probably in high school, when I knew, like, because I was failing in school, but in music. You know, the garage band was working. I was making like $300 a week back in 1972. It was like, I'm quitting, or 73, whatever it was. And I said, this is what I'm going to do. I hope.
I was playing in a piano bar downtown, which was like, I was the piano man. You know, an afternoon shift is like,
Well, Robert Klein, too, you did that
I did some side gigs, and then really we did this one show. We all looked at each other and
came together.
And it came together. And the crowd, it was kind of something new for everybody. And then we ended up going to another club called Vernon's.
Yeah.
And that was our boot camp. We played, 4 sets a night, 5 nights a week. I mean, we burned it out and just kept going.
What was your first big record deal?
Well, we did the indie stuff first, and Amore we did ourselves, and then in '85 we had already been playing 5 years. We signed with Columbia, and that was the big year for the band.
You covered Man in the Streets. Was that and that was one of the early.
It was
right.
SMR. It was the Emerald City gig.
Well, we did a demo. We had a place in Manayunk where we used to rehearse called the Ranch, and it was not a ranch.
In Manayunk, I don't think so. Yeah,
it was our ranch, and we did a demo of Man in the Street. Was an instrumental by this Jamaican group. Skylights, a little 2-track demo. And MMR was one of the first stations to play. It was awesome.
The first station to play.
The first.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Absolutely.
Well, the relationship has obviously been something that's been enjoyed by everyone. But what I like, and Preston tells me, going through your studio, and you're also aficionados of the instrumentation and the equipment used throughout the years. And I don't know if this is correct, but some tracks were actually from the 80s incorporated into this. I mean, the literal tracks taken from the 80s incorporated into this release.
The new record. Absolutely. The whole thing kind of happened organically. We didn't set out to do this kind of record, but it just kind of evolved. And then we have these 4-track demos from back in the day. Literally, some of the tracks on the new album were recorded in the 80s, 90s, and we transferred them to we had to find a machine that would play them. They were on a little cassette, put them into the digital world.
I remember those. I remember those devices. And there's
And
something.
they sounded pretty good,
It's
actually.
like sort of finding the old Batmobile when you go. It's like, oh my God. Because anyone who started, even in our, you guys are obviously, we're doing it on a much more elaborate level. But Preston and I, we have conversations about bumping between 2-track to 2-track to 2-track to build something at that time.
Exactly.
And I love that we were there for the switch from analog to digital because I always contend there were tricks and cheats that were developed on analog that ported nicely into digital. Yeah. You know, and it's something that I savor.
Yeah. Rob was showing me a couple of the old pieces of equipment. He was giving me a tour of the studio, and sure enough, Steve, there's little razor blades.
Those were the days, though.
Yeah.
Editing tape, you know, and when engineers would do that, you know, and it would take, now it's like a breeze. They do it so quickly. But I remember seeing tape, like, you know, yards of tape where some engineers would be pulling out and, you know, editing. And
well, here's the thing. There's no undo.
Yeah.
You know? We're so used to undo.
Oh, I've tried a few.
I made a mistake. Well, you'd see your tape go around, and there was a razor blade, and they would cut your master tape. I mean, that is your work.
The master.
And if you don't cut it exactly right and put it back together, you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, your heart would stop every time. And so that's nice about digital is like you're not going to lose it. But the analog, those were the days, and, you know, we all grew up with that. Even vinyl albums, there's a sound. And with this album, again, it was kind of accidental, but we went back to these cassettes, and they sounded really good. Not all the stuff is usable, but we found some stuff that really was. Then we overdubbed David on the drums and sang on some things, but a lot of the tracks on the new record were originally recorded years ago.
Eric was telling me the story that night of the song Pete Rose, which is an instrumental, and he's like, yeah, sure enough, the main part of the song was taken from a cassette to a 2-track recording, and it's used on there.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, there's a sax solo on that. And he said, I can never play that solo again, so we have to use it. So it was literally from the cassette from, I think, 1982.
Yeah.
And his guitar as well, it had this twangy sound. Yeah. He said, I can't get that sound anymore.
That's amazing.
We just actually use those real tracks.
So, but there's the amazing thing is there's software now, and there has been for a while that can really re-energize the sound. But I'm glad to hear that there was not a lot of degrading of the original audio.
No,
so,
it actually got better, didn't it? I mean,
if you were to put an hour estimate on how much archived audio exists of the Hooters throughout all the years, any you care to take a guess, or is it beyond comprehension?
I have boxes of cassettes. We used to record every show, especially the U.S. tours. We would run a cassette of every night.
Walkman.
And even locally, like we played Ardmore, it was the 23 East.
Right.
Probably hundreds of cassettes or more, of days. I mean, way too much. Let's put it that way.
But thank goodness you kept it, though. You know.
Well, some of it's worth hearing. And the other thing, back in the early days, we'd write a song one night, we'd play it the next night. We would toss it the next night. You know, like, let's try it out.
Zombies was early in the set. Remember, we'd play Zombies at Vernon's. It would be the second or the first song.
Yeah, we needed to get it out of the way because it was still so weird.
And it's like that sometimes that an artist will write a song and they're like, this is just kind of a filler for the album, and it turns out to be the hit.
Time after time.
Yeah.
Well, and for us, Zombies really was the song, because we did that at our very first show.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, okay, that's a strange song. And then over the time, people said, hey, what's that one about zombies?
And it came together quickly, actually, right?
As a musician, is that not frustrating, but it's like, oh, but look at this, and they're looking at that, and over time, do you begin to appreciate that, you know, the same talent and the same effort, you know, it was all there for that one? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, like if you were originally inclined to sort of, you know, not dismiss it, but this is not what this is the album, this is the song, you know?
The key is getting objective ears, because when you're in the middle of it, you might be so stoked by a song, but you need a good producer. And we had a fantastic one, which was Rick Chertoff, who was a great friend and a drummer in a band I was in. And then he went on to produce all the Columbia albums. He did Cindy's album and Joan Osborne, and he was our George Martin, whatever. You know, someone who can say, guys, this could use some work. And, you know, you get so pumped and so psyched about some songs. And we play it for Rick, and he would go, well, that's pretty good. And then your heart sinks, you know?
Yeah.
But then he'll also come in and say, but you know that other song that was just sitting there, right? If you just took that and you put a verse from here and you change the key. So it is that, you know, when you're so inside it, you might get really excited about it, but it's nice to get opinions and listen to them.
Yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge, like that was a throwaway. And I think it was Rick Rubin was producing. He's like, hang on a second here.
There you go.
Let's
This is
back
something.
up, and I think there's something here. So sometimes a fresh pair of ears or the right pair of ears,
you need it,
can get you in the right direction.
I mean, there's very few people that can direct it all themselves. You really need some of that objectivity. Absolutely.
Rob, you mentioned the U.S. tour or a U.S. tour. You were talking about that when you were about touring the U.S., and you guys are doing a tour with Rick Springfield.
We are.
And who else is on there? There's a few other people on the bill.
Paul Young. Well, it's called I Want My 80s. And we're going. It's been a while. And it's kind of a revolving or rotating lineup.
Okay.
It's Rick Springfield, Paul Young, Tommy Two-Tone, and then the Tubes are playing some shows.
Oh, that's cool. We
John
was it
Wade.
Steve Wavell or what's it?
I guess, you know,
We got
whoever
buddies in all those bands, which is kind of
who's ever in the two. I mean, we end up on the West Coast. It's our first national tour in decades, so we're nervously excited. Let's put it that
That's
way.
what you should be, because I mean, a lot of these, you'll see these tours, and they are nothing but wonderful for people. You know, it's these are all artists that are like, that's awesome.
We love the idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be a lot of work, but God, just the opportunity to get a bite of the apple again, you know, like that across the country and playing places that I'd be in Munich or Berlin every summer just about.
Yeah.
And I'm going, God, I wish I was in, I'd love to do this in, you know, Oregon.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
there we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
we're going to Bend,
Texas,
Oregon. We're going to play in LA,
Louisiana.
YouTube Theater at SoFi Stadium. We're going to play there. It's a 6,000 seat venue, I believe. That's going to be fun. You know?
Yeah.
My buddies out there are going to be able to. I lived out there for a few years, so it'll be nice to play like my old hometown, my other hometown.
That's awesome. Yeah. And Germany's big.
It's great.
We're heading there
Bratwurst.
in June. That's like the easy part of the tour.
Who do they like more, Hasselhoff or you guys?
Probably Hasselhoff. But we do okay. Over the years, that's become our staple. We do these festivals and then on the weekends and then clubs in the week. And we have a fantastic crew over there. Honestly, it's going to be more of a challenge to tour the States than it is to go overseas because we haven't done it in so long. And the drives are a lot longer, too. There's that.
Let me ask you this: as a band, and you guys have, you've earned your keep for a long, long time, and so when you're going out on tour, what would you recommend? When does a band on a tour really hit their zenith as far as, you know, oh yeah, we got it down now? Would you say early on when everybody's working really
for
hard?
Us, you know, it's funny. We
towards the
don't
end?
rehearse a lot, even with new material. We like to the rehearsals are the gigs.
Yeah.
We'll go through the songs, but we don't do production rehearsals or anything. We just get out there. We've played together so long. 2 or 3 shows, especially for singing vocals. You know, it's a muscle. You gotta. If you're off the road, you're not singing and playing. And for Davey on the drums, it's physical for all of us. But I'd say 2-3 shows, we're in the groove and we're ready to roll. And then it's smooth sailing generally.
I mean, you've been at it for so long. I mean, there's that. But no, it's very exciting that this opportunity is coming your way.
43 years.
Yeah. Well, we got over 50 shows this summer, which you look at the itinerary and you go, oh my gosh. But we get out there and honestly, we feel like we're playing better than ever. We're getting up there, but we're hitting the notes. We're playing the songs mostly in the original keys. And no teleprompter yet.
Which is remarkable. That's a lot of stuff to remember.
Although in Ardmore, I totally spaced on some of the new stuff. I was making up words on the spot.
That would make me so nervous. Like, how do you get through that when it just leaves your mind?
It does, and we have this new version of old song called Engine 999, which we recorded back in the day. So we have a new version, although it is an older song. I got to verse 2 and I just spaced, and I'm looking at Eric and he's singing the harmony and he's looking at me, and it's contagious. You know, if one guy forgets, then we all forget. So I just start making up words. And then people are looking, the hardcore fans in the front, they kind of get it. After the show, nobody else knows. Or it was their favorite part of the show. You know, if I go to a show and somebody screws up or they stop the song, Pierre and I were talking about this. You know, if it's a train wreck and they stop and they start over, that's what you remember the most.
Oh, yeah.
Those are
well, it's funny because David Crosby passed away, and I had completely forgotten that I had been to a Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young concert. And so... in his honor, when I was on my way home from work, I started listening to So Far. The album Sweet Judy Blue Eyes came on, and I was like, oh, my God, that's right. they messed this up in the middle of the concert. And that's when I remembered that I saw them in concert because they stopped in the middle of it and then started it all over again.
You know, it can be mortifying. And when we were back in the early days, we would really get upset and angry. And then, but now it's like, look, they don't want to see you be pissed off or upset.
No.
You just.
Although it was fun watching Ray and Dave have a fight on stage at Mid-Sense. You know, we were playing with the Kinks once, and I was like on the side of the stage, and here Mick Avery's playing drums, and these were my heroes. And all of a sudden, Ray wants to play one song, and Dave wants to play another, and they're like,
well, that's a whole other
F
level.
you, no, F you, F you. And it was like, wow, man, I'm watching a fight in front of 15,000 people, and they didn't care.
And again, that's the most memorable part of the show.
Yes.
I'll guarantee they walked into the venue fighting. They're one of the legendary warring brothers.
Yeah. But,
my God.
Preston,
it happens.
I think David has a gift for you today.
Well, I'll tell you what. So at the party, you and Jim.
My buddy Jim.
Jim came back. We were by the drums, and you were looking at the dread snare.
Yes.
That dread snare I've had since.
Should you explain what the dread snare is?
So the dread snare is a snare drum that I got it from the reggae cats. They would take a snare drum. We were talking about the timbali sound, but it was a little different, a little thicker, had a little meat to it. Basically, these guys would maybe break a bottom head, and then he put a snare drum on there, and it would give you this sound.
So you basically have two snares. You have a regular snare and then
another
next to
snare.
It. And Davey used to be Davey Dread.
Yeah, I'm bringing it back though. We were talking about that drum. Well, you know, I lost it for a couple of years. That exact drum, I left it at a studio. And fortunately, the guy said, hey, I got a drum of yours, and he got it back. But for a couple of years, I was using another dread snare.
Yeah.
Which I am presenting to you.
Wow.
You got there's the thick sticks. That's
Oh
me.
my God.
That's me, you know?
Well, actually, I need somebody to hold it.
Right. If you hold it and kind of play on the rim.
There you go, man. Yeah, there you go. That's the way it's supposed to sound. Listen to that. Immediately I went home. Matter of fact, when I heard the Monday where you were trying to find a dread on zombies, I went, I got to get this guy a dread, man. I got to get him one.
He taught us what to look for.
Yeah, when I came in and Dave was showing me his beautiful drum kit. Oh, hang on a second. Yeah, I'm going to mention that. And I gravitated towards this beat to crap looking thing on a stand.
Not even round
all
anymore.
by itself. And I'm like, I go, how long you had this tamale? He goes, 1980. And I go, is that the one I hear on, all you zombies? And he's like, that's the one. And I'm like, no way. And I was just like, I love, musical instruments that have a
history.
History to them, and especially to you personally. If you know it, you've heard it, that's the one. It makes it that much more special. And so I was just fixated on it. And we started jamming on it.
Yeah, we were playing together. Well, that guy right there actually had some Hooter spit and snot on it, which we used on some shows because I couldn't find it. And even see the dent. Right there, that's when somebody threw something at me and hit me.
Really?
But see the dent, but it's got so I didn't want to clean it up.
They weren't too happy with the Davy Dread at that time.
So I said, this guy's going to have his own history with this thing. The head has got some real work on it too, so it's all you. The gaff tape to give it the sound. So
the more beat up, the better.
Yeah, the better.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much. That's my drum special. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is. And they
I hope they know that you're a real drummer, man.
They autographed the inside of the shell here. Oh man,
It's
fantastic.
Davey, you just mentioned a beat up drum. Is that sort of where the story it came from for beat up guitar? Like when you guys wrote that song?
Not quite, because that's another instrument.
Yeah,
the guitars, these guys have these vintage guitars.
Metaphor for it,
and
right?
so there's something about these old instruments that we love. They're all over the new album. In fact, if you get the new record, we took these Polaroids, kind of old looking photos of the gear that we used. Besides transferring the tapes, we used beat up guitars, old amps. I had an amp from high school that Eric played all the guitars through. And we use these Farfisa organs. And,
that was the Gibson amp, right?
It's a Gibson amp, a little Casio keyboard.
Yeah.
So on the new record, it really is not just retro with the rhythms, but the sounds as well. And the dread snare, you'll hear it all over the record. It's that timbali sound, but Davey plays it in a certain way, and it became the dread snare.
Yeah, it's not an overdub. I play a rhythm, and it's just part of the whole context of the groove. It becomes part of the groove. So I'm playing like this and playing.
Yeah.
It's not like you overdub it, you play it within the beat.
And the
so.
dread part of it, it's not that we dread the sound. It's like, it's the Rasta Natty Dread. If you're a Bob Marley fan, Natty Dread, it's all the Rasta culture is dreadlocks and all of that. So
The
that
dread snare.
became the dread snare.
You talk about that sound and using the older equipment, and an album that I love, Joe Jackson did years ago, Body and Soul.
Yeah.
And he recorded it all on old tube equipment.
Right.
And
Oh,
that
my God.
album sounds
Amazing.
wild.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's digital. We're all in the digital world, and again, undo and
it ain't going
and
away.
it's fast. And there's plugins, there's digital versions of all these instruments and sounds, which are fantastic. You can put it on your laptop and they work. But when you hear the real thing, when you hear a tube amp, a Hammond organ, drums that are just live and recorded well, especially even to tape, there's something about it that is magical and fun.
He has 44. I think at one time counting 44 Hammonds. and I walk into the studio to cut this record, and there's this organ he's playing that was some analog. It looked ancient. And
it is.
I don't know what that was, some Havana thing. It was wild, but the instruments were just so cool.
Been fun.
And Rob, you told the story when we were at the listening party about one of those was a John Lennon.
Well, I have a Hammond. The most cherished piece for me is the Hammond B3, which is the main organ that you hear on rock records. That was the model that caught on, and we did a lot at the record plant. Which was in New York, and when it closed, they were kind of liquidating all the gear. In fact, Jackson Browne brought their main console. They had great stuff, but they had a bunch of Hammonds, and they said, take your pick, because I needed one. And I got the Hammond from Studio A, which was John Lennon's room. Unfortunately, that was the room where he was recording the night he died.
Oh, my God.
And he would be there, and Petty and Springsteen, and you name it. I mean, Studio A at the record plant was the space for years. Yeah. And I have that organ with like cigarette burns on the sides of it, and it's beat up. It's the beat up organ.
Yeah.
But it's a piece of history, and it's got a lot of soul and grit, and God knows who played it.
That lobby was so amazing at the record plant. You mentioned record plant. Like we'd be in B, and A was next door, and then C upstairs was amazing. But B, I'd walk out knowing that I'm going to meet one of my heroes. Always doing a session, or Anton would be next door doing a session. You know, Edgar Winter was there one day. But these giants, Chapman, the Miles Davis thing was the thing that blew me away. Rob and I walked out one day, and Miles was recording upstairs, and Tom
we're like, hey,
Dowd,
can we go up there?
No,
like,
Tom Dowd actually,
no,
but Tom Dowd asked Rob and I. We walked out, said, "Do you guys want to hear Miles' version of Time After Time?"
Yeah.
And we went up, we sat up there, and we listened to playback. And I'm looking at Rob going, Miles is covering your song.
Those are amazing.
His chords, his progression, Miles is playing it, man. We were like, I think I was floating for about 3 years after that. From that. It was amazing.
We had May Pang on the show, we interview, and she was talking about that being there, and I think that was... She told a story about John's recording, and they're all there, and they're looking forward, and they hear this is after, they were all gone their separate ways. There's a lot of animus, between John and Paul. And they're there, and the door opens up, and she turns around, and it's Paul McCartney with Linda. Yeah. And they hadn't communicated at all in years. And she relayed the story that John turns to Paul and goes, hey, Paul, you want to... Like nothing had happened at all.
Yeah, I bet.
And then he jumped in and played drums. And And so the history, it just gets into the core of these things. And that's, I think, why we love them so much, you know?
They were so nice. I mean, we met Paul on Top of the Pops, and he couldn't have been... He was so nice. Such a nice man.
It was.
Yeah.
By the way, you'd mentioned Time After Time, and it still pops up in movies all the time. Air, that new Nike movie.
Yes.
They play...
Well, it was all 80... The music was all, I think, 84, 83, 84, so they kept it real vintage. And, a friend of mine had seen it. He said, you got to go see the movie. We knew they had asked... they'll get permission or ask for a license, but there's never a guarantee that it's going to be in the movie.
Right.
So you have to literally wait and see the movie. Could be the last minute, and then if they did use that. A great soundtrack for that movie.
You got to get one on Stranger Things, right, Preston?
Yes, because that's right in the wheelhouse. Now, not to pry too much, but you do get paid for that, right?
We do.
Okay.
It's negotiable, but
it's so weird though. I remember doing a gig now we're thinking back, but like the 80s. We're going to Harrisburg, and I don't know who's in the car, but I know that Rob's in the car because we had to all pull over to take a leak. And I remember a cassette player or a Walkman And I heard time after time then on the way to Metron, or a portion of the song. And, the song became massive, but he...
Right there was the first time you'd heard it?
Yeah.
Taking a piss.
This is pretty good.
So like when The Walking Dead and Army of all these movies started popping up, are you going, come on, we got a song that's tailor-made for this right here, all you zombies.
Well, they'll ask.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. The funny thing is they haven't used zombies very much. Maybe it was just too obvious.
Yeah.
I think it's been in a couple of shows, but that's what I'm thinking. Come on, guys, we got the theme song here.
What's the most? What ends up the most? I assume you have an accounting of.
Well, Time has really been covered a lot, and well, Cindy, we played on her record, and Eric and I, and Rick Sherdoff produced it, so we kind of were her band.
Yeah.
And then her vocal on that, was amazing. And the crazy story there is that the record you hear, it was actually the demo. It was the last thing we did for the album. And Rick said, we need one more song for the album. That was it.
There you go.
So it was the last minute we sat in the studio at a piano, actually in Studio A of the record plant one night, sitting at a piano, and then we went right to the tape. So the album version or the single that you hear was the demo. We didn't even have time to. Usually you do a demo, then you whatever, goes through many phases. But
that's wild.
Her vocal, I think, was almost a first take on that too.
It's amazing.
Great singer.
Yeah.
So with the new record, with Rockin' and Swing, we got went to a listening party. We got CDs.
Ooh,
we actually got CDs, which is really cool. But digital, obviously.
But there's vinyl too.
Oh, is there?
Yes.
Listen, my youngest brought me a vinyl record the other day that they had picked up at a music event, and was the first album that they had ever had, and we sat down and listened to it and was just blown away. Vinyl is nothing to sneeze at.
Well, the thing with vinyl
things.
is there's this constant dialogue or discussion about what sounds better, but it's not even about the sound. It's about holding a record.
Yeah.
It smells a certain way.
Yes.
It's a piece of tangible. It's not just on your iPod or your phone. You're looking at, at least for us growing up, we would read the album credits like, what's a producer do? What's a mastering engineer? Who played on it? Who was the assistant? Or there were liner notes. Some of these old jazz albums where they really go track by track.
Yeah.
So you miss that tactile sense of things, and it's also a social thing. You sit around, you're passing the records around,
and as a fan of music, you actually take a little bit of ownership when you have a record, right? Like you feel like I own a little bit of this band, and this music becomes mine. Whereas you're listening on your phone, which is a great way, obviously, to listen to music. It seems to me like I'm just renting it, and I got to give it back at the end of the day, and it's kind of owned by my phone. But if I have a record and I'm looking at it, there's a tactile sensation.
And then it becomes a record collection.
It's a coffee table book that you can listen to.
It's like books, whatever. You collect them, you swap them. And speaking of records, we also re-released our very first 45. Along with the new album, there is vinyl, but our first record that we did ourselves was Fighting on the Same Side. It came out in '81.
Wow.
And that was our first recording, Big Hole 45. So we have that out now as a re-release on yellow vinyl. And it's been fun. I mean, we grew up with albums. I mean, look, it's nostalgic as much as anything.
And they surpassed CD sales, which is kind of wild.
It's great to see them hanging in there. Our friend Phil Niccolo, by the way, shout out to Phil. He recorded Amore back in Studio 4 back in the 80s, and now he's got a pressing plant. He pressed up our vinyl. He's doing stuff. He did the U2 recent double album and Nirvana reissues. So vinyl's back, and for us, it never left. So we're thrilled.
Well, listen, Rocking and Swing is out now, and it's fun, it's feel good, it's happy music. Everything that I've listened to it from, it's definitely summertime vibe type of thing. So get it now from the Hooters, and then the tour is going to work its way around. You just played the shows here, but you guys will be swinging back through Cape May and Quakertown a little bit later on.
In fact, I want to mention that because those shows were booked before the Rick Springfield tour. So Springfield, we're one of 4 bands, and it'll be a shorter set. We'll play a full, good set, but the shows we're doing in Quakertown and Cape May are full till evening with hours of hooterization.
Get hooterized.
And Quakertown is an outdoor. We've done it. This will be our 3rd or 4th year. It's really fun. It's just a big open area. And then Cape May last year we did one night. We're doing 2 nights at Cape May Convention Hall. Few tickets left, But that's going to go, and that's again full tilt show in the middle of the Springfield tour. So it's kind of a little detour. Those were already booked, so we're going to jump off the tour, and for the local fans,
down the shore.
There's a Saturday night show, dude. I'm there.
Oh, yeah,
I am
great.
there. I'll play Dread Snare.
Bring the
for
Dread
you.
Snare.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
You can jam.
So happy you guys have new music, first time in over a decade, right?
Yes.
And the tour, all of this happening right now. It's just it's a wonderful thing, and we're happy to be there to help you guys out with it. So.
We're exhausted.
It's just getting started.
But you get in front of the people. Even last weekend, the 3 shows. 2 sets, and it was like, here we go again. And that used to be the 23 East. That was our stomping grounds, and we were back. And it's really the fans. Once you get, no matter how you're feeling, and believe me, you're out on the road.
They are the best.
They give
they
you
were
the
lined
energy,
up.
so you get up there and
Lisa, Susan,
Yeah,
I know they're all my friends. You walk out, they're great.
Love it.
Great.
Rocking and Swing. It's a new album, and make sure you check WMMR.com. We'll get the tour dates, and we want to thank you guys. Rob Hyman, David Uosikkinen. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a sec. P-File coming up. Stay there.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR. WMMR.
And that's really kind of the trajectory there. Those are the themes there, is how a father deals with, a man kind of coming into his own as a dad, basically.
I love this notion. I would have been, and I am now going to, because I just as Preston said, we're both fans of this kind of approach to music. It's few and far between these days, and it used to be the norm. And you would just get there and you would immerse, and you would look at album art, and you would be, what's the message? And you talk about album art. You've got the comic series. I mean, you've got all of this stuff that's dovetailing. Preston, at 16 or 17, if you found this band, you'd be outside the tour bus.
Oh yeah,
bugging the crowd. I mean, because honestly, I heard so many people that I respected and respect, Claudio. The band's name would always come up, and I'm like, well, I love this stuff, and so circuitously, I would experience and go, yeah, that's good. Not understanding, I mean, what is a very rare situation where it's not just simply a thematic concept album, it's a concept band. Mm-hmm. That is awesome. That's a mind blower. Did you start to fall into it just through the growth of the band, or was that the modus operandi from day one?
So when I started writing material, I think I was about, I was a teenager. Right. And I became the singer of this band. And when I was writing the material for it, before it was Coheed and Cambria, I started to realize, like, I just had a hard time. I had a hard time singing songs about myself, putting my heart on my sleeve. But though they were, so I just didn't want anybody to go, oh, I know that person now because of the music, So I started to construct this concept. So I took a trip to Paris, France in 1998. And there's when I started to construct the ideas of Coheed and Cambria, the characters, some of the first songs on the first record. Just because I hadn't been anywhere. I'm a New York kid. The furthest I had been was New Jersey. And now I'm in Paris, and it was so wonderful. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just really adopt this as a songwriter. I mean, of course, I'm a teenager. I'm not thinking that strategically, but that's just what I thought. I was like, you know what? I'm shy. Let's just put this out there with a curtain, and that's what I did. And then, when the band got signed in 2001 to Equal Vision, an indie up in New York, they didn't like the name of the band we had at the time. And so Coheed and Cambria happened to be this project I was working on the side, and the band really liked it. And so with that, we adopted the name, and I took the concept with me, and it's just kind of been I guess from day one when the signing, I guess you could say it's always been the thing.
That's great.
All right, so you had mentioned entering this universe for the first time, and you had sort of drawn the parallel between your music and, let's say, the Star Wars universe. So for us, the Star Wars universe started with Episode 4. So if we were talking to somebody who had never seen a movie before, we might start with Episode 4, and other people might say, no, you got to start with Episode 1, and then other people might say, no, you need to start with Rogue One or whatever. So what I want to ask you, 20 years later, and I've done this with other bands where I discovered a band, 4 records in. I'm like, okay, well, where do I start? Do I start with the newest stuff, or do I go back to the beginning? So for you, for anybody who just heard Shoulders for the first time, and that is their introduction to the band. Do you recommend starting there, or do you recommend going back to 2002 to the Second Stage Turbine Blade?
I think it's totally subjective. I mean, this answer changes all the time. It all depends on timing, right? Like if we were to finish, say, the Baxis story, which is 3 more records, my answer to this question would be different. I would say, I'm really proud of Baxis 2. I think Baxis 2 really kind of stands off on its own. I also really love the idea of like coming into something late and then discovering the fact that there's all this other stuff to consume. But if I had to say, Second Stage Turbine Blade is basically the second part of the Amory Wars. That is the second part in this huge mythology that's probably going to ultimately be 12 parts. But that's the second part. The origin story of those characters is in a record called Year of the Black Rainbow. So technically that's the first. Here's the thing. So sorry, here's where my crazy gets into play.
All right, it's all good.
Every record has a numeric value. So Year of the Black Rainbow, year being singular, Second Stage Turbine Blade, second being 2, In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3 is the third part, Good Apollo 4.
Oh my.
So every record has its numeric value within the story. The Baxis story arc, however, that's sort of more cryptic. The V for Baxis stands for the Roman numeral 5, and the axis in which all of the Amory Wars is now going to revolve. So it's a little heady.
No. This is absolutely, and I love it because I'm looking at a color code that explains a song can be exclusive, like Red, for example. A song can sometimes be exclusively from the point of view of a character in the real. I mean, there's a breakdown of tone of who is speaking based on a color code. Your fan base is obviously very much into the minutia. We are as well for so many things that are pop culture, and obviously you're a science fiction fan. So what has rocked your? I got to assume you're a Dune fan, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I love all versions of Dune. I love the Frank Herbert book. I actually liked the David Lynch movie. I mean, when I saw that, I was a child.
So did Steve and I.
Yeah,
I had no.
We're fans as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I really love the new one. So yes, I'm definitely a fan of Dune. Definitely a fan of Star Wars. I also really like I liked Krull. Are you guys familiar?
Krull, of course, Krull.
Yeah.
It's cheesy goodness.
Oh my God!
That sort of star, that weapon,
star that he would throw.
It was awesome. Yeah.
The glaive.
The glaive.
Yeah,
dude, I wanted one of those so bad. Yeah, I totally. Yeah.
I was like, right, but so that was like the thing, right? So when I was a kid, like you'd sit watching HBO in hopes that Star Wars would come on, and HBO would give you give you Krull, they give you Ice Pirates.
Yes, with Robert Urich. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Like so, those are like sort of those are like the science fiction movies that I got kind of brought up on. Comic books, obviously. Anything sort of pop culture, like Saturday morning cartoons, He-Man, G.I. Joe. I was like I thought Tron. I think the era that I grew up in. I mean, I'm pre-adolescence. I'm in the '80s, so it's very character driven. People are trying to sell toys essentially, and so characters are very defined. Even in the most cheesy way, when you think of G.I. Joe, you got Shipwreck, who's the sailor, or so I think I was kind of lucky in that respect because I don't know that all that stuff really influenced me.
Oh, we talk about
hard.
this. Yeah, we talk about this, especially from that period. We were just talking about the movie Alien Nation. Do you remember that with the?
Yep, absolutely.
Right. All of those were where they were very high concept, very easily consumable science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because that gives us a fixed point at what was your impetus for this, and it all makes sense. But that's very cool. So besides the comic book and the music, since everything obviously has a very theatrical aspect to it, would you take a foray into films? Is this something that has actually happened and we're unaware of, that you've announced any plans for films? Because I think your vision would be perfect for this.
We've attempted it, but on a very grassroots sort of small level, not in a very serious way. No one's really come to approach us essentially. Okay. At one point, Mark Wahlberg tried to get involved, his company Leverage, but it wasn't really I mean, I think it was like the wrong time, because now I got to tell you, like, I get asked this question way more than I've ever. And I think it has a lot to do with maybe the Vaxxas story arc, because a lot of the accompanying art, the story, is very photographic. It's very photorealistic, and it's easier to see, I think, than it ever has been.
Right.
So I get asked it a lot. So I have a feeling it's gonna it might happen. Nothing right now, but it just feels like the wave is pushing in that direction.
All right, so Claudio, to that end, in 1998, when you're writing in Paris, essentially you're creating this story arc, but the constant from 1998 until right now is the music, right? The music sort of is at the base of a lot of this stuff, and a lot of what your career has become. However, in 2022, you're sitting on a tour bus and you're Zooming with us, and we're in completely different states. So obviously, and in many ways, the technology over that amount of time has changed vastly, which allows you to tell the story in many different ways. Which part of the technology advancements that we've had over the last 2 decades is most appealing for Coheed and Cambria? Which part of it is just kind of a distraction? Like, what have you guys really embraced, and you're like, oh my God, this is a really great way for us to tell the story in a way that we really want to?
I mean, I always want to see it kind of get played out in a live action, just in the simplest form, whether it be television or movie. But there's so many other things now. We have VR, we have metaverses, we have all sorts of stuff. And I think there's a lot of source material for us to draw from, and again, like, that was never really my approach. It was really just to make, comic books, essentially, just to tell these stories in a different way, watch them get up off the record and come to life. And now it's like, yeah, sure, movies and television, but there's so many other places to stretch.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for me to wrap my head around all of them. But, at this stage, I mean, I'd like to do everything. I mean, I think these characters are, I think the characters are really, when I see our fans and I see them resonate with certain characters, that's so insane to me, because I never anticipated that. I never anticipated anybody to see themselves connect with a character. That was just not on the top of my head. And like, when you see that fans have like a favorite, like you have Ambelina on their arm, or, Willem Ryan, and, it's just like, wow, that's like me resonating with like Freddy Krueger or Darth Vader. It's so cool.
No,
absolutely.
I want to talk about the fandom for a second here, and I'm going to lead this part by saying that we got a tweet from a fellow musician, Claudio. It is a Peanut from 311, and he's listening right now. So he tweeted at us. So I wanted to give a shout out to Peanut, who's listening this morning. But you mentioned the fandom, and I'm going to give you an example. And this is a killing two birds with one stone, because I want to thank this listener. This morning I came in and there was a box sitting over here in the studio, and I'm like, well, what the hell's that? And I open it up, and first of all, it is a 4-pack of the Rush beer. All right, that was sent to me. All right, and it came with a letter. It says, Preston, a beer to share with a fellow Rush fan. These are not for export in the USA, so I coordinated a delivery from Henderson Brewing Company in Toronto.
WMMR.
All right, B-File time.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
It is brought to you this morning by CSB Media Arts Center. You can train for a career in broadcast media, web development, social media marketing, and filmmaking, all at CSB Media Arts Center in Cherry Hill. The website is gocsb.com. That's gocsb.com. All right, this one sheds a little light on why people steal catalytic converters. 2 Nassau County, New York brothers and a co-conspirator were arrested and charged on an 81-count indictment on Friday, alleging that they engaged in a black market catalytic converter trafficking operation that at one point netted the brothers $170 million from a single refinery.
What? $170 million.
This is between 2021 and 2022. Alan and Andrew Pileski.
That's a major crime ring.
Trafficked stolen catalytic converters from states as far as California, extracted precious metals from inside and sent those metals to refineries to be paid. The Pileski brothers were arraigned in front of a judge on first-degree and second-degree money laundering, second and third and fourth-degree criminal possession of stolen property, and fourth-degree conspiracy. They pleaded not guilty to the charges. Their bail was set at $50,000 each.
That seems insanely low.
Yeah. The two men are accused of purchasing volumes of whole catalytic converters with cash and then using special tools to open the units to obtain platinum, palladium, and rhodium. The tools used to extract the precious metals were at Alan Pileski's company, Ace Auto Recycling. While all three metals hold high values, rhodium has an estimated value of $7,500 per ounce. Now, to give you perspective, gold has a value of about $2,000 per ounce. So it's more than triple the price.
A quick question is, I may be misremembering this, but one of those chemicals used as sort of a drug?
Platinum, palladium, or rhodium?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Familiar.
Okay.
So after the metals were extracted, the DA alleged that the two brothers sent them off to refineries to be separated, weighed, and appraised before the money was wired to Ace Auto Recycling. One refinery, and this is according to this story, allegedly paid Ace $170 million over the course of an 18-month period. Wouldn't red flags be raised?
That's what I'm thinking. Are they now liable? Is the factory? Didn't anyone at the factory say, where are you getting all
Exactly.
this?
Of that money, the DA claims Ace pulled out over $120 million in cash, some of which was used to buy more stolen catalytic converters. I've never heard of figures like that in a crime.
Well, guess who's going to start stealing catalytic converters, man?
Exactly.
Me.
Yeah, this guy.
All right. If you want to get the potholes out of your neighborhood, or you want to get them filled up, these East Sussex English residents took an unconventional approach. They painted penises on their crumbling road, and the town then tried to remove the offensive images without repairing the road. According to Helen Carr, a resident, she said, we then got the road sweeper going up and down about 30 times to try and scrub them out, but all he achieved was to make the edges of the holes crumble even more and tear up the road, so therefore they then had to repair the road.
So they'd done this before, and it had worked. But what they actually did is came out and repaired the potholes that time.
Yeah.
They thought they'd pull a fast one this time.
Nope, and it made
no catalytic converters for them.
Made the potholes worse, and therefore it ended up working. A woman who drove under the influence of cocaine and alcohol, killing another driver who was under the influence of alcohol and methamphetamine, was sentenced to probation.
Kind of took care of itself.
It
didn't
does cancel things out a little bit, doesn't it? Summer Butler pleaded guilty earlier this year on April 19th. For the incident took place on April 19th. Police said that a car was making a U-turn in a center lane, causing the front of another car, which Butler was driving, to collide with it. The driver and the passenger in the first car were both ejected from the vehicle. While a trauma paramedic was attending to Butler's injuries, a small baggie containing a white substance fell out of the left side of her bra.
Uh-oh.
That substance was cocaine.
It should smelled.
Nearly 2 weeks after the crash, blood tests confirmed Butler had cocaine and cannabinoids in her system. The blood draw also found Butler had an alcohol level of 0.102, which is above the legal limit. The victim who died in the crash had a blood alcohol level more than 3 times above the legal limit. That person also had a substantial amount of methamphetamine in their system. Data from Butler's car showed that she was driving 70 miles an hour just seconds before the collision. The speed limit in that area is 40 miles per hour. A Ghanaian, is that how you say that? Ghanaian?
Ghanaian.
A Ghanaian social media influencer has been extradited from the United Kingdom to the U.S. for allegedly swindling, and I know this pales in comparison to the catalytic converters,
right?
But she swindled over $2 million from older single American men and women in a twisted lonely heart scam.
Like a catfish thing?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Mona Faye's Montrage was set to appear in Manhattan federal court for alleged involvement in a series of romance schemes targeting older people who lived alone. She had around 3.4 million Instagram followers and was involved with a group of con artists from West Africa who assumed fake identities to trick people into thinking they were in relationships with them using emails, texts, and social media messages. I'm always happy to see somebody like this get busted.
They're preying upon the lonely people.
Yep. The scammers would then get victims to transfer money to them under false pretenses, such as to help move gold to the U.S. from overseas or to resolve bogus FBI investigations and payment to help fake U.S. Army officers in Afghanistan. In one case, she allegedly duped a victim into sending her $89,000 through 82 wire transfers in the pretext of helping her father's farm in Ghana.
So is this a picture? There's a picture up here on the screen. Is
Yeah,
this,
that's her.
Yeah.
Yep. She's attractive, you know.
Yeah,
She's definitely sultry looking. Phone conversations using her real identity were found, and in total, Montrage netted $2 million in funds the group ripped off from victims to bank accounts that she had in the Bronx and elsewhere. She then allegedly laundered the stolen money to other members of the enterprise. So she has been busted. All right, and there you go. That is what I have in music news for you. Nick's got to follow up on your question here, Steve.
Yeah, Steve, so you're asking about palladium, and I don't know where in your brain this registered, but it was used by Howard Stark on the arc reactor for Stark Industries. So maybe that's where you
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, and
possibly.
And so Iron Man has a connection to palladium, and perhaps that's where that registered in your head.
Quite
Palladium.
Yeah.
Okay.
He makes the arc reactor out of it.
Yeah. What was the one he created? It was in the second movie.
Argentium. Yes.
Yeah.
And sold it to Steven Singer.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because I got a shard out for Steven Singer.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
I love that.
Erica Hoffman wrote in. She said, yesterday, because of you, I went to Steven Singer with my great-grandmother's engagement ring to design my own. And we all couldn't stop about Preston and Steve and how great you guys are. And I need to shout out to Fitz, whose name is Greg and loves the Fitz dog. And Natalie, who had so much patience with me. I told them I'd call and shout them out today. They all listen. Last thing, I didn't realize that I have the entire Krista ad read memorized. And that's the one that I got. She got the Krista Ready for Love diamond engagement ring. Krista. Thank you guys so much for kicking ass and making me laugh every morning, you guys. And guys, I was getting an engagement ring, and the Preston and Steve show was all I could think about. You rock, and that is from Erica Hoffman. So a shout out for Steven Singer. And then I want to send this shout out to a friend, Kellyanne Laba. She says, your favorite Marymead Farm baker here.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that you guys love our delicious ice cream and baked goods, but I need a shout out for my fellow employees who will be picking up the slack in my absence. I'm having surgery on Friday and will be out for 8 weeks. Thanks so much, and can't wait to be listening again. So here's a shout out to the gang.
Hope everything's okay.
By the way, Kelly's the Marymead Farm bakery manager.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's got some. Steve, she messaged me, and it's
personal.
Yeah, but so it's not a snap. It's something serious.
Okay.
But I know that our show helps her get through. And Kelly's a great person, and that ice cream is fantastic.
Yes.
No, it'll turn out well for her. So she's a sweetheart.
All right, Kellyanne, thank you for checking in. Good luck with everything. We wish you nothing but the best. All right, we're gonna
breaking news.
Really? Thank you, Casey. So apparently, a new Foo Fighters song was just released. And we will have a clip in music news to play for you when we return. So that is the breaking music news for you this morning. And as we are going to stop for a moment, Kathy, we have a secret text word and we need a winner. What caller set your fancy on fire?
8.
All right, call number 8. 215-263 WMMR. If you know the secret text word, you can win. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Drove from Michigan to Ohio. From Ohio, it was driven to Harrisburg, where I picked it up and I drove it home to Langhorne, PA, and I now share a few with you. That is from Dean Gutierrez, an MMR listener. And so the reason I bring this up, A, I wanted to thank Dean, and second of all, in the world of progressive rock, there is a connection with the fans that I think is unique to itself. And because of conceptual works like you guys do, Claudio, there's further discussion about the music other than I really like that song. Man, that rhythm's great, or this guitar part's really awesome. You start talking about the subtext of the characters and the stories and all that stuff, and it just makes for a really special fan base. And I wanted to get your impressions on that.
Yes, we are so fortunate. I mean, our fan base is just amazing that they get into all of those sorts of things. Like last fall, we did a cruise that sold out, and everyone was super respectful. It was just, it's more of a family. We see the same faces a lot of the time. We've created relationships with our fans. It's something that, again, like I just never thought I could only have dreamed of.
Right.
And it's like it's like happening.
I wonder.
We're lucky in it.
I wonder, Claudio, how much of that connects to, and you come from a point of being shy, and I did stand-up comedy. I'm doing this now, but initially I was kind of shy, and there's something. I think that draws a certain. You don't want to make blanket statements. It's for everybody, obviously, if you enjoy. But I think you're probably connecting in a way, because that's well known about you and your impetus for starting all this. That the people who don't feel that there's something quite for them, you're providing that. I mean, on a basic level, we can sense your joy over being able to do that. Would that be your greatest accomplishment, you believe, touching people who maybe up to now haven't found that thing that resonates for them?
I think so, absolutely. I mean, it's also like, it also provides something for me. Like, again, going and being shy, it's like it's hard for me to walk into a room of people I don't know and be a personality. I tend to kind of cower off, and that's the whole idea of being, the Coheed line of one among the fence. I'm the one, at the dance, like, I'm the wallflower. It's just not for me to be a loud personality, and being on stage allows me to do that, and it allows me to be around people with like-minded thing. And sure, maybe it's something that I created that everyone's into, but it allows me to like kind of be open. It's a starting place for a conversation and friendship. Maybe that is I created friends.
You did. You clearly did.
If you're just tuning in, it's Claudio Sanchez, who's with Coheed and Cambria, and they're going to be in town in July. Tickets go on sale with the show at the Leah Chorus Center tomorrow at 10 a.m. We played the song Shoulders as we were leading into the interview. You guys have a new song called The Liars Club. I saw the video, really cool animation. And like I said at the top, Claudio, not being aware of the full body of work of Coheed and Cambria, Liars Club seems like it has a different tone to it from the other songs that I've kind of skimmed through in your catalog. Dare I say, a little poppier. I mean, I'm trying to think of a better term, but what's the story behind the song and the sound of it all?
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of this material was written pre-pandemic, through the pandemic, and I was just kind of open to all ideas. I figured, here's an opportunity for me to flex. Even Shoulders feels like a very new version. I mean, when that song was written, it was, primarily because, our A&R had threw this idea at me. I was up for the challenge. I created it. I put it aside. It wasn't going to happen, and then I brought it to my co-producer, Zach Cervini, and he was like, wow, this is a vibe that's not on the record. We should work with this. And that became a song. And kind of the same thing for Liars Club, although Liars Club I think was a little more immediate, because I knew that was, I thought that was a theme that I really wanted to express on the record. Like, who doesn't want to, like, embrace the lie sometimes, when reality just isn't, the way you see it. Yeah.
No. I was just wondering as you were talking and talking about that in Preston's question, and you mentioned Star Wars earlier. We have obviously we know you're a fan. I think of George Lucas, who had the original vision, and perhaps tries to go in different ways. And he got eaten alive by his own fan base. Do you feel you get the latitude from your fan base to go out on these sort of creative ventures that might depart slightly from your sound?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because it's not something that's foreign from what we've done. I mean, it's definitely we're definitely stretching with this new record more so than we have in the past. But we've also laid the groundwork in past records to do things like this. Okay. Like, if you guys fall into the into the discography at all, you find songs like Evagria or Number City. These are all songs that really kind of stretch outside of like what the comfort nucleus of what Coheed and Cambria does. So we're always kind of breaking out of that a bit. But we do it more so with this record. And I think it's really more appropriate because of the theme of the album, because the mind is opening up for this one character, and we're starting to realize that it experiences infinite, like all infinite outcomes. This one character of Vaxis is like, consumed with, like, instead of seeing the world as we see it, he sees it as maybe the static of a television, because he can see every outcome at one moment.
Sounds like Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
Right. But almost so much more that he physically can't interact with any of them, if that makes any sense, into like a catatonic state, because it's so consuming, so overwhelming. And that's why I think, it made sense conceptually to really kind of step outside of, like I said, the nucleus of what we do and kind of stretch. Like, you'll hear songs like Disappearing Act, which really kind of stretches the window of the waking mind. There's all sorts of stuff on this record. I'm really, really proud of it. And Liars Club, I thought, was a really cool, like, statement to put out there, just to kind of get everyone's feet wet,
I love these concepts. It's really deep and heady stuff, but let's go back just a little bit. Did your old band break up because of an argument over gas money? Is that correct?
No, I don't know what. No, but where is that from? That's like a Quidditch question?
Wikipedia. It was on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
We're like, what? So we almost broke up because of well, there were several moments, but like, to be completely honest, like when Coheed first started back in 2002, like the attention to the band was so intense. Like, we would play shows and opening for bands, and we would play, and once we were done, like, the place would empty.
Oh,
it was like severe. Like, we had no idea that we had that impact at that time. And so it really got to me as like the guy with the hair, the focus point. It, like, I didn't realize like how much of a magnet I would become. And it kind of scared me. Like, so much so that, I broke down, and gas money wasn't never, that might have been like, who the hell knows? I have no idea. But for real, like, my mentality was like disintegrating. Like,
wow.
Coming from like a person that, again, like I am very much an introvert. It was really hard to be like, to have that so much attention when I grew up in my adolescence with none.
Huh.
Yeah.
Were you guys friends first or bandmates first, do you think?
Travis and I have been friends since we were 13. Like, I met him through a mutual friend who wanted to start a band. So I guess we were bandmates before we even became friends, if that makes any sense. Before we even met, we were going to be in a band. But Travis is like Travis is my brother. I mean, it's so wild how like insane and in sync we are, and how at one point we want to kiss each other, and at another point we want to just strangle each other. I mean, it's like, so we've been friends forever. Josh I had known because our bands had played together. He was in a different band, and our scenes had crossed paths. And I remember this one story when Josh and I were drinking one time after a show. We were in different bands at the time, and we were on the side of a house, urinating or whatever. And I said to him, and his band, to be honest, had been signed to Universal already. They were off and about to become something, but things had happened. And I had said to him, I said, one day we're going to play in a band.
Time to find out who our winner is. We're looking for caller number 8. Caller number 8 is Jackie. Well, hello there, Jackie.
Hi, Preston.
Hey.
Sorry to bother you at work.
I love your enthusiasm. We'll take it. Well, listen, I need to know the secret text word, and then we can award your prize. What is the secret text word?
Steps.
Steps. That is correct. Like, give me 3 steps. And hang on the line, Jackie, because you are going to go to the Lost Highway Motorcycle Show and Concert. It's a 2-day festival, and we have 2-day passes for you this Friday and Saturday at Poconos Park in Bushkill, PA. And it features this band right here, Leonard Skinner, and also the Marshall Tucker Band. and others as well. So custom bikes on display from the Speed King Cycle Showcase, and info and tickets available at losthighwayshows.com. Our secret text winner, random texter winner, it's Harry Wood.
Harry Wood?
Of Wynwood, PA. Is that the Harry Wood who gets in? I think he texts me or emails me from time to time. It's got to be the same guy. Harry, you also get those tickets too. So congratulations to you, and thank you to everybody who did text in with their chance to win. Now, if you didn't win that, it's all right. We got a chance to win something else. We are going to give away right now for the lesson question a pair of tickets for the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival. June 3rd and 4th. That's at Bader Field and Dropkick Murphys, 311. A couple of the bands that are playing that event. The question, man, these are tough questions. All right, I'm gonna. Oh man, what do I go with here? How about this? Who are me and Steve's legal representatives? 215-263-WMMR. Let's see if you know who both Steve and I have our legal representatives. They were named earlier this morning. 215-263-WMMR. If you heard the answer, call now, and we'll do the trash. Why you call that?
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
Brought to you by Cherry Roofing and Siding. You can get 0% financing and a free estimate when you book at cherryroofingandsiding.com. Since 1975, they've been providing service with a cherry on top. Steve, what's going on this morning?
Well, according to DailyMail.com, rumors that Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez are continually fighting are false. A friend close to the couple says there have been some times when they weren't fighting. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Journalist Edwy Planell has filed a lawsuit accusing the director of Johnny Depp's latest movie of spitting on him. As for Depp, he issued a statement saying, "Hold my beer. My ex took a dump in our bed."
Wow. That's right.
It's right. Kevin Federline is going ahead with plans to move his sons with Britney Spears to a new home in Hawaii. Federline says he's very excited for the trip and has already loaded up his RV. That's your Hollywood Trash.
All right, we are searching for someone who has the correct answer to today's lesson question, and I need to know if you know who our legal representatives are. So both me and Steve. 215-263-WMMR is the number. So again, who are the Preston and Steve legal representatives? And we've had Megan on hold for a long time. So let's see if we can get the answer here. All right, we're going to go to Megan. Hey, Megan, good morning.
I know a lush when I see one.
You're a lush, yeah. Yeah, lousy lush. All right, Megan.
You are a lush. I can tell by looking at you.
So
you're a real crumb bum.
Who are the legal representatives for both me and Steve?
Your wives.
Your wives, yes, that is absolutely correct. Yep.
Get away from me.
Hang on a second, Megan.
You're a real crumb bum.
Oh, this would be great with like clips playing of
you're a real
Get away from me. Get away from me.
All right, Megan, we are going to give you a pair of tickets to the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival, June 3rd and 4th at Bader Field, presented by Ocean Casino Resort, featuring over 100 breweries pouring 400 beers. Dropkick.
1, 2, 3. You're a real crumb bum.
Could we sync up that 1, 2, 3 with me and Pierre's 1, 2, 3? 3, 2, 1.
He does it. I'm not sure, but who knows? So anyhow,
You're a creep. You're a creep. You're a coward. You're a creep. You're a creep. You're a creep.
The album we give it the RZA does Rizzo.
Yeah.
Right?
The what?
The RZA does Rizzo.
The RZA does Rizzo. By the way, Dropkick Murphys performing June 3rd, 311 on June 4th, and you visit acbeerfest.com for tickets. I want to play around with this from some more. Hang on a second.
You're a crumb creep. You're a creep. You're a coward. Just me.
It would work.
Me. Just me. Get away from me. Get away from me.
I know a lush when I see one.
All right.
That's like a New Order song.
I love it. All right. Let's do music news.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Jigsaw.
I want to fight you.
All right. Let's beat up Nell. Brought to you by Mulch Works Vast, and they offer the highest quality mulch and topsoil. It's manufactured on site, and they also have leaf compost, decorative stone, pavers, and more. Delivery or pick up for residential and commercial markets. You can visit mulchthis.com. In a new interview with Jason Bailey, Corey Taylor blasts the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. When asked which of his three projects, Slipknot, Stone Sour, or his solo band, that he would want to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he said, at this point, who gives an S, really? He said, to be honest, it's hard for me to say that they get it wrong. It's hard for me to say that they get it wrong because sometimes the people they induct 100% deserve it, but there's still so many groups that should go in before some of the ones that haven't. It really upsets me, dude. He said, so at this point, it's like, I don't even know if I'll ever even be considered for something like that, and I couldn't care less, to be honest. To me, that's a high five at the end of your career, and I would rather have that later on. It's just something I don't really concern myself with. Would I be a stingy hog and want to be like the great David Crosby and be in there like 4 times? Well, that would be great. If I could be in there for all 3 acts, that'd be killer, but I don't think I'm even going to get in for one, so it's fine. I've got better things to do, he said.
Yeah.
In a new interview, Buck Cherry's Josh Chodd, we talked about him yesterday, opened up about being sober from drugs and alcohol for almost 30 years now. And he said, I'm an alcoholic. He said, I've been clean and sober from drugs and alcohol for 28 years, and although you take away the drugs and alcohol, it's just a symptom of the problem. The problem is your mind, between your ears. I'm different than a normal guy walking the street. So because of that, I call it the committee. And the committee between my ears can be an asset or a liability for sure. So you have to do a lot of things to manage that and to understand those particular voices in your head that really want to get you isolated from people and get you to drink and use. He said, there's a lot of things that I do. I'm very active in Alcohol Anonymous. I meditate. I show up. I have a lot of meetings to this day. I'm still a work in progress. I just work really hard on staying focused on the fact that this thing that I got is always lying in wait, and you have to really take it seriously or you can find yourself giving in to those dark thoughts.
It's true.
So it's a struggle. It's something he still works on. And then finally, Squeeze and the Psychedelic Furs have rolled out a 26-city late summer fall tour. The new Wave
That's a good bill.
Legends launched the trek on September 8th in New York City's Radio City Hall, and they will be playing Philadelphia September 13th at the Met. So I thought that'd be pretty cool to
That
mention.
is cool. I've seen both a number of times. Psychedelic Furs is my preferred out of those two, but they both put on good shows.
Yeah, so tickets for that, September 13th, the Met. Go get them. All right, and then finally, we had mentioned that we have a clip of a new Foo Fighters song to play for you, and we're going to do that now. What is the song called? I do not even know that.
I think it's actually Untitled.
I know nothing.
That's the title code.
Under You.
Oh, all right.
Is what it's called. So we ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, 5 guys, and 4 members. But you start to see personalities and people like you become family. It's like, living with, who you're blood-born to be with. Now you're in a band doing that, and the quarters are way smaller.
Yeah.
But, right? So it's like, and you start to see these parts of people manifest, myself included, that it's like, wow, you really, really get to know people in a way that you don't with others. And, now we're lucky. This life has afforded us the opportunity for the luxuries of buses and, hotel rooms and things like that. And, 20 years into it, like, we all really have come to love what we do. Whereas, like, through that 20-year stretch, there may have been times where we really disliked it. And not the artistic part, but just the living, but for the most part, I mean, every day it feels like somebody talks about how excited and how grateful we are to be out here.
Wow.
That's great.
It's such a it's an awesome place to be, man. And your fans are loving that you guys are having the success you are, and you're coming to town, and people have been stoked about the release of this album. So it's really cool. And judging by just glancing over our text messages, you got a bunch of new fans from sitting down and talking with us too, which is great.
Oh,
So
sick.
I love it. So the Leah Core Center, July 27th, and tickets are available tomorrow at 10 a.m. CoheedandCambria.com. The new album, Vaxxus 2, A Window of the Waking Mind. Make sure you get that.
That is the whole song, yeah.
What? I was told we were going to play a clip in music news.
Yeah, me too.
We can play the whole song, right? Can't we?
Freaking play the whole song.
Yeah.
Get the whole freaking thing. What do you want to do? You just played it. You going to start it again?
I played most of it. I think
warlock.
I think we should take a break and come back and play the whole damn thing.
I think
if
you're
we
right.
have the whole
Wow,
song.
man, that's awesome.
Okay. All right.
I will say, though,
Silver Surfboard.
it's not a new sound. That sounds like the Foo Fighters.
Totally.
Yeah.
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 Somebody wrote that it was a new sound and it's fun. No, it sounds like the Foo Fighters.
Oh, it definitely sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
It's
Yeah.
upbeat and
That part's
and-
right.
and cool. But yeah, it's definitely got a Foo
Freaking
Fighters.
What's Charlie doing
Freaking
here?
Foo Fighters. I went through the wrong door. I was supposed to be on with Ben.
Get away from me.
Get away from me.
You're going to have a hell of a story, man.
Playing
I'm a
anything
bullet
you
of
feel like?
truth.
Okay.
Charlie Sheen and Frank Rizzo, one night only.
I think we'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll play that whole damn song.
Yeah. All
I think it's what we need to do. So let's do that. That's it in music news. Stay with us for brand new Foo Fighters, the whole tune, when we get back.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
This leads to exactly that. So I'm going to start moving through the music because I really like what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I love the whole concept of, this thing
whole
that is,
band
it
is a
is the
concept.
band. That's so
Neat.
cool.
And Press, I almost opened up a whole new door of conversation there because when we was talking about being locked in a van with people, and I just kept thinking about the book that you turned me on to, Project
Hail Mary?
Hail Mary.
Oh, Hail Mary, yeah.
Where they're in space and they put these astronauts into suspended animation, and it's not because they don't want them to age. It's because if they had them in a spaceship for as long as they did, they would murder each other.
Yeah.
That's a legit thing. And so when you have these bands that are just on tour, and they're on tour for the rest of, this month and through March, and then all through the summer, like when you're locked in a room with people, just think about how much you guys want to kill me after 5 hours of being in the studio, and then times that by 1,000.
Throw you on a bus with us. All right. We love you, though, man. We're intrigued by our next guest creation, so much so that we had to do it on our own, yet we don't have facilities to cook in. So Pagano's is a new restaurant that opened up in our building. We've been restaurantless.
It's been a nightmare.
For 2 years until last week, so that was nice. And as soon as they move into the building, we asked them to do something for us, and they did.
We had to test it out.
And they took a bag of potato chips, actually a few different bags of potato chips, and made mashed potatoes out of them. And we got inspiration from our next guest to do that. And you know what? We gave it, it was interesting and tasty.
I liked it.
In its own way. But our next guest is actually coming to, and I assume we are interrupting his vacation because he's in Cancun, Mexico right now. You know him from his YouTube channel. Please welcome Sam, the cooking guy.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, everybody. How you guys doing?
Wonderful, Sam. How are you?
I'm good, but let me start by saying interesting is generally not how I hope my recipes are viewed when people make them. You know?
Well, no, listen, here's the deal. I enjoyed the flavor of the potato mashed potatoes. The consistency was a bit interesting. It was very, I know it's potatoes, but it was like even more starchy and stickier than regular mashed potatoes, I thought.
Look, I cannot help with some. This is like eighth hand reviewing here.
Right.
My recipe goes to you guys. You guys don't even make it. You put it in the hands of a brand new restaurant. We have no idea if they can even cook.
It's true.
And now suddenly I'm being rated by this. I don't want the audience to take this one example as
all right. Fair enough. And you have plenty of great examples on your,
yes,
on your YouTube channel. So
yeah.
Hey, number one, why are you in? What's going on in Cancun? What are you doing there?
Oh, just a vacation with my wife and two sister-in-laws and a husband. We tried to put together for a while now, and it's just gotten derailed for one reason or another. So just a little break because the weather in San Diego is probably 65 or 70 today, and Who wants that? That's freezing. So we come down here.
Yeah, where it's warmer. I can't believe you're checking in from your vacation. We appreciate that. That's really
look,
cool.
you guys reached out. I saw the comment on Twitter. You reached out, and I was honored. I'm always happy to chat with new friends.
Awesome.
And I hope that you call on me from time to time when you want to berate one of my recipes.
Certainly.
Well, I think he's reading it wrong. We approve.
Yeah, it was.
I in particular.
Okay.
I in particular thought, not to go off on this too much, but taking potato chip flavors that you liked. I forget the one that was really a home run. No, listen. I want mashed potatoes made from potato chips to retain some of the potato chip flavor, and they did.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Look, years ago, before YouTube, I had a TV show in San Diego for a whole bunch of years, and we shot a show once that was based around mashed potatoes, and then we did certain things to them in one of the segments. And the person behind the camera never knew what my plan was until I started. And I said, okay, today we're going to start everything with these. And I reached into the pantry and I pulled out those dehydrated mashed potatoes that you guys talked about when you first discussed this. And she stopped the shooting and she went, you're effing kidding me. And I went, no, I'm not. I go, they're potatoes, just in a slightly different form. Look, dried porcini mushrooms are one of the great finds in the world. You rehydrate those and they're glorious.
Yeah.
A potato dehydrate. Come on, it's not the most sophisticated thing to start with. So what's the big effing deal?
Right. No, you're right.
Yes.
Hey, listen, real quick, Sam, you'd mentioned meeting new friends, and I'm new to your YouTube channel, and I can't wait to delve in and find out more about it.
Thank you,
not knowing much about you, I pick up a little bit of a Canadian pronunciation. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Vancouver, Canada, West Coast, prettiest part of the country, we think.
Stunning. Both Steve and I have been there. It's just amazingly beautiful.
Absolutely.
It's not just beautiful, but it's a really cool city. It's got an amazing vibe. It's got a huge Asian population. It's got British influence from the old days. There's a touch of French. They all go together. They make great food, interesting people.
And you guys got ahead on the marijuana thing way in advance of everybody else. That was pretty awesome.
Way in advance. Look, I was pushing for that as a 16-year-old boy living in that city, and they just they didn't listen to me then. It took them a while. I'd like to think I was the forerunner in that whole process.
So learning more about what you do. You know, I was watching a recipe this morning. It was from one of your newer videos, which was Italian fried rice. I make fried rice at least once a week, maybe a couple times a week.
Yeah.
It's a family recipe. It's really simple. It's nothing special, but it's something that I just love to do. And you've taken it in another direction. Is that, in a sense, what you like to do with most of your videos, is taking food into a new direction?
It is. I mean, sometimes we make fairly straight ahead things. We made mushroom risotto a couple weeks ago. Nothing amazing about the recipe. It's really delicious, but sometimes the goal is really show people that they can make things often that they don't think that they can make, that they're complicated. So I think we found a really interesting niche. When cooking channels are on YouTube, they're generally one of two types: all kitchen-based, sandwiches and salads and breads and blah, 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 that kind of stuff. Or they're sort of all outdoor barbecue based, like smoking and grilling and sort of typically like caveman.
Right. You're right.
And we've mixed the two really nicely. We do almost all of our cooking outside. I'd say 97% is outside, but things outside that then maybe need to go into the oven. We'll make a lasagna that you wouldn't normally make outside. But we like our outside. It's my home. We like the outside set. It looks better. The lighting's better. And you don't need to see me really put something in the oven. If I make a lasagna and I go, this needs to bake for 10 minutes, why do I have to turn around and put it in a stupid oven?
Right.
I really don't. So we do the grilling. We're part live fire show, smoking, grilling, charcoal, Santa Maria style grills, that. And then we're also the side that does make the lasagna, the risottos, that kind of thing. We like to do across the board, so there's a little bit for everybody.
Well, you've got millions of subscribers, and there are loads of people doing different types of cooking on YouTube and other channels and here and there, and they always try to go after some kind of a hook, something that grabs you. And I was surprised, and I appreciated the fact that your presentation, or at least in the production, is very simple. It's very straight ahead. There's there's no magic editing, no little music, graphics and stuff. You keep it pretty simple and straight ahead, which is why I was kind of surprised you have the amount of people that subscribe, because I thought maybe there'd be more of a hook. But no, I'm assuming what it comes down to is you're just making good food.
It's an interesting sort of half compliment and half negative compliment. I know your show is really basic. It's like a third grader can do it. And now I'm surprised that you have almost 3.5 million subscribers.
I had a feeling you might take it like that.
So look, we've been on YouTube since 2011. And in 2018, we had 30,000 subscribers, middle of 2018. From the middle of 2018 to the middle of 2019, we went from 30,000 to 1 million. And then the next year, another million, the next year, another million.
Wow.
And I think what we do, you're right, there is nothing fancy. I do think, though, the technical work, the editing is beautiful. The work for our channel is as beautiful as any TV I've ever done, for a start. It is simple, but I think my goal is that people walk away with a good understanding. So there's more talking in ours, I think, than many of them. Many of them it's like 1 cup, 2 cups, stir, mix, pour, bake, that kind of thing. I'll say, do this. And if you don't have this, let me tell you a workaround for it, or here's why I like to do this. I feel like I'm a teacher. It seems silly at times.
Yeah. And then I saw we had the whole song. I'm like, why aren't we playing the whole song? Whatever, man. You'll hear it again. Pierre will play it again for you. Brand new Foo Fighters, Under You.
Do me a favor.
Heard first and exclusively on the Preston and Steve Show on 93.3 WMMR.
Give him one of your bizarre files tomorrow.
Okay, I'll let him do that. Let us see here. What all do we need to do before we wrap up for the day? I guess we can thank those who joined us on the program today. Which mainly was Rob Hyman and Dave Uosikkinen of the Hooters.
A lot of fun.
We had a great conversation with those guys, man. Just all over the place about the new music, about their tours, about their history, about instruments. And
someone got a gift?
Reggae beats. And Scott, and yes, Dave Uosikkinen gave me a thing he called the dread snare. And it's not the original dread snare, which you can hear on early recordings from the band, but he gave me the backup dread snare, which he ended up using when he lost the original dread snare and found it. So this one it took its place. But Dave gave it to me.
That's so sweet.
And they all signed
so nice.
The inside of the shell. I thought that was really, really cool.
Where is it?
What's that?
Where is it?
It's in the bag over there, Casey, if you want to. Do you mind? Pierre would like to see it. So,
do you have a CD player?
We do.
Probably.
We do.
Oh, you mean right here?
Yeah.
Behind you.
Yeah. But after you're done, I just put it on track 1. I just want to play one little piece of the song for you.
Okay. On the air?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Case, can you pop that in? Thank you, sir.
Look at that.
Oh,
CD
yeah.
player.
Yeah, here's the...
wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is so cool.
That is obviously played and worn and
it's
broken in.
smudged and everything.
Yeah.
You want to hear a little bit of it?
Yeah.
Hold it a little flatter. Flatter. Thank you. I see I'm now messing that up, so...
Nice.
There you go.
It's even got duct tape on it.
Yeah.
In rock and roll, everything is fixed with duct tape.
Actually,
gotta
in
have
life
in general, but certainly in rock and roll.
Wasn't Frankenstein Van Halen's guitar? Didn't he use? Wasn't it tape that he uses too, or is that actually painted on the lines?
Oh, I think it was paint, but that guitar was beat up. I'm sure there's just tape on it somewhere. So, but anyway, you want to hear a little bit of the first track? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because what's cool about there's 2 instrumentals on it. Pete Rose, which they talked about. Great interview, by the way.
Thank you.
With the guys, great conversation. But Pete Rose is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th song, but the song, the opening song, is also an instrumental called Guava Jive. And if you just play the first 30 seconds, Rob told us at the listening party that he took his iPhone and was walking down the beach in Jamaica and just recording background sounds, everything from the ocean to bar sounds to bands playing on bars. And before the song kicks in, you just hear a little bit of this. I thought it'd be cool to play.
Go ahead. That's on his phone, just walking down the street.
Walking on the beach. And then the song starts.
Wow.
And it's a great little number. It's a great, it's all instrumental, but.
On his phone.
Yeah. Well, no. The song is.
Yeah. No, but the recording he got of the beach.
The recording he got just walking down the beach with an iPhone and put it on record. He heard all these sounds from the ocean lapping to people hanging out at bars and bands playing in the background. And the first 30 seconds, I mean, no one would even know that, but he told us that. Just
it transports you. Yeah.
Yeah. HootersMusic.com is where you can get the record or local record stores, by the way.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Great conversation with those guys.
Great conversation.
All right. So we'll do the letter of the day if you're ready.
Sure, yeah.
Here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter. And the Preston and Steve show is brought to you today by the letter
C is in Columbia.
All right. And we now have another letter collected. 2 more to go before we give away a pair of tickets and meet and greet passes with the Rival Sons. It's their show Saturday, June 3rd at Franklin Music Hall, presented by 93.3 WMMR, of course. And the show also features the record company and Starcrawler. And tickets are on sale now via AXS.com. And a second chance to win tickets is out there, and meet and greet passes as well on the contest page at WMMR.com. So check that out. We'll give that away on Friday. What's happening today, man?
Well, on the program today, I'm going to premiere the brand new song from the Foo Fighters. Oh, wait.
Sorry.
You already
screwed that up.
You did
Excited
that.
to hear that.
Yeah, we did that.
Bill said I was going to do that, but that's okay. No, that's okay, dude. Rock on. So I will have an older song from the Foo Fighters.
Some you probably heard a lot.
Some here. Yeah, it'll be fine.
It'll be good. I mean, it won't be
good.
great.
It won't be the brand new one.
Right.
Yeah. Leave it on in the background.
Promised to me, but that's all right.
Kind of not as exciting, really.
I'll get over it with a steady dose of Valium and coffee. Now, other things besides that will include more passes for the Revivalists coming to play in our new performance studio next week, and I'll have another pair of passes for that.
That's the debut of one of our artists in that performance hall, is it not?
Yes, indeed, sir.
Very cool.
It's a really beautiful space right down the hall from you guys, and it's got room for the audience. It's got a mixing board. It's got a little stage on there, so we'll have conversation and music with the band and a studio audience for our first archive session with a studio audience, actually, in some time. And workforce blocks today of 9 Inch Nails for Trent's birthday. We got, well, all over the musical map as usual, a block of Kansas and a block of Pearl Jam.
Yes.
So from 9 Inch Nails to Kansas to Pearl Jam. Welcome to Pierre's show.
It's everything that rocks.
Everything that rocks.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, Pierre. And I want to thank our sponsors. Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by Duncan, and the Preston and Steve Show runs on Duncan. Also brought to you by Wild Fork Meat and Seafood Market. You can enjoy the largest selection of quality meats and seafood at low prices. Tomorrow is shaping up to be a nice, busy day. Glenn Howerton.
Yeah.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Our good friend will be joining us via Zoom. Also, Keith Jones, now the president of the Philadelphia Flyers, will be on. And we'll have comedian Rob Cantrell joining us in studio. On top of all that, we'll find out who the first coolest teacher of the year is. Northern Burlington County Regional High School in Columbus, New Jersey. They're going to be voting. We may pick your school tomorrow.
That's right.
All right, so we'll do that tomorrow. That's it. We're done. Rage on. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, friend. Bye-bye.